Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, and we got a full house here today. I'm super excited. Returning to the show, it's Brogan Kearney. Welcome back, Brogan.
Hello.
And we've got a wonderful couple. You guys remember our episode with the Divorce Mediator. Well, he's back.
I am back. Hello, hello.
We're so happy to have you. And you brought your wife this time. Your better half, I may
did.
say.
Exactly. Here she is.
Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you guys. This is cool. You know, we're all in my house and I'm like a little bit self-conscious. I'm like, you know, my friends who are my age know how I live. They know I live like a pig, but you guys are like, you know, been around the block maybe once or twice more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to getting into that medicine cabinet of yours. So just let me know when we've got a break. Okay.
There, man.
There's
some good stuff.
All right. That's why I'm here. I'm here for the drugs.
I fly calm, okay? Well, great. So we thought we would start off. One of the reasons I thought Brogan would be great for this episode is she is twice divorced, which this already popped a question in my head. I mean, you guys have seen quite a few divorces in your line of work. By the way, Cheryl is a divorce coach, while Joe is the mediator. What is the record for the most divorces you've seen someone have?
Wow. I think 3 is the answer. 3, yeah. And I believe that was a military individual, so probably got married young in a foreign land, then came home, you know, on leave, got married because had a baby, then that ended, and then third marriage went the quote unquote distance, meaning, you know, maybe 10, 15 years, something like that.
And also, we divorced an individual twice.
Oh, the same a repeat customer.
The same person.
Repeat customer.
You know
Yeah.
what? I got the people for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a problem, honey.
Yep. Not to worry. Brogan, you get a discount next time, so you just give us a call.
Yeah,
We'll take good care of you.
15% off.
That's right.
So, and Brogan, just to couch this a little, isn't it correct that you had one divorce that was like super cut and dry, and then one that was like kind of gnarlier? Is that what I remember, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
Interesting. Okay, hit us with these deets. So I'm excited to get into these. You wrote career here, that he was aimless. Yeah.
So my first marriage, I was really, really young. We were together for, I think, overall about 7.5 years. And so I left when I was about 24. My second marriage was very, very quick. We got married when I think I was like, we met when I was 30, got married when I was 31. And it did not last very long. So kind of just some of like the bigger kind of themes for what happened was a lot of it was his career. So we moved really, really quickly. We met, and then within 3 months, we had moved to like a major city move and moved in together within 3 months of meeting. And then a year to the day of meeting, we were married.
There you go.
A classic
He doesn't
recipe.
waste any time.
Exactly.
I
Whirlwind
think
romance.
it just was like, you know, like we're 30, like we know when you know, and no, that's not true. I think that one of the bigger things was his career. So it should have been the biggest red flag ever. So I woke up one day and he was like, "Oh my God, babe, I've been thinking about this for so long. I just pulled the trigger today. I paid this developer $500 to start this drop shipping website, and I'm just gonna start doing it. I'm gonna make so much money." And I was like, I didn't even know what dropshipping was.
Yeah.
So I called my mom and I was like, what? Then I looked it up and it was like these just like the most like bullshit, just like these weird like podcasts, these like dropshipping things. And I was like, oh, this is bullshit. This is this weird, like almost like pyramid scheme. This is bizarre. It's like this get rich quick. I was like, oh no. I was like, no, this is, you lose money doing this. And he just like got so emotional and so sad. And I was like, no, you're actually like, you're really good at what you do. Like he was like an editor and like some, I was like, it was just so confusing. So a lot of just get rich quick schemes like that. So
okay, let's talk about that. That's interesting. So drop shipping is when you're never getting the items.
Right.
Some other guy is getting the items and shipping them out. So it's like a business where you don't do anything, which already you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually at a business, you got to do something.
Yeah. Middleman action.
Exactly.
And these days we're seeing a lot more of that because I think in the news you see guys like Zuckerberg and Bezos, where these guys are making billions and trillions of dollars. And a lot of regular folks, we're seeing this in our practice where they're like, well, I should get a piece of that too. And
Yeah.
there's got to be something for me to do. And drop shipping was one of them. Rent to rent websites to sell plumbers leads was another one of them. Turnkey painting systems. There's a lot of that out there now. There's a lot of people making money off people who want to make money. And it sounds like that's
And
your
then
situation.
There's all those real estate seminars,
Oh, yeah.
flipping houses.
Yeah.
So we've
like
seen a lot of
Airbnbs,
clients in our practice where one spouse has that issue and is so convinced this is the one that's going to hit big.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the other spouse is trying to be supportive, but after investing sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, it really just tears the marriage apart. And so what happened with that? Did he?
Okay, so I spent the entire day, it was so awful, just the entire day just convincing a grown man, because this was like one of so many things. He wanted to be a helicopter pilot at one point. He wanted to, again, he was like a trained like documentary filmmaker.
Me and
like,
Joe are like,
editor.
that's actually
Like-
kind of sick. Let him do it.
Fireman.
He was like a trained director of photography, cinematographer, editor. Like that's what he did, and he was like pretty good at it. And he would talk about how much he like missed working with a team, but then also he was doing like day trading, and I was like, that seems like gambling, and he was like, no, it's not, and I was like,
No.
okay,
I have a system.
Yeah.
Sure.
So God, after an entire day just with him, I was like, drop shipping, that this is like essentially a pyramid scheme. Like you're not going to make money. And he was like, I'm an entrepreneur. And I was like, this is not entrepreneurship. And he was like, I want to work for myself. And I was like, you're not working for yourself. You're going to be at the whim of the customers. And like, if, you're actually like, you're not in control, it's in control of these other people.
Right.
And like, if something goes wrong, then you're getting all these negative reviews. Like, it's like, why am I having to explain this to a grown person?
Right.
But, and essentially, so the sweet irony was that I convinced him to start applying for jobs in what he actually does for work.
Okay.
And he found this job that moved us across the country. And he just he chose the job over me. I hated where we were across the country. We had to move to North Carolina in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, no.
And he got to just have this adventurous life and travel the world for this job, making film. And he was like, making film is all I've ever wanted to do. And I was like, really? Because last year you told me that your dream was to drop ship.
Yeah, you were mailing empty cardboard boxes to people, I think, weren't you? Yeah.
And so that was just kind of career job weird, lost identity was just a huge part of it. So that was kind of one of the biggest things that
No question, man.
Yeah.
No partnership there either, right?
No,
It's
I was
like
gonna
we're moving
say.
here, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if he had a conversation with you about even the drop ship thing.
Exactly,
the big decisions, if you're skipping your spouse on the big decisions, that's a very bad sign. That's not a partnership. And
by the way, the Ferris wheel will be installed today at home. So just in case you're aware, while we're here, just thought I should share
my
that.
ex was into that day trading, and we kept our money separate, but it's still, in a way, it still affected me.
Of course,
But I think anytime you go through these kind of experiences, if you're smart, you learn a lot from them. And even if what you're learning is, I never want to do that again,
Right.
and hopefully finding some good therapist and working through how did you attract somebody like that in the first place? Because that's what but I think for you, it was smart. Obviously, it sounded like a painful journey and you were supportive and you honored the commitment, but it's probably better off for you that you got out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a lifetime of that. No question.
That's a lot. You wrote this. This is really interesting to me. You wrote, I'm very social and active. As soon as we moved in, he kind of just sat on the couch. That's interesting. Is that a thing?
So he had this pattern with partners, and I just really looked over it. Again, I think it was something about me turning 30 that I just had this pattern with dating, that it was really hard to find someone that wanted to get married and have kids, and I just was so focused on that. And I met this person. Also, at the time, I was living in Portland. That's where I'm from, and so it was really exciting to meet someone that worked in film, because it's just in Portland, there's a lot of people in tech and design, and so that was really exciting. And he really was just so all in immediately, and just this really like big personality, and just talked about all of the things that we're going to do. He took me on this huge trip. We went to Europe immediately. And we moved to LA immediately. And he just talked about all these like friends, just how, and because he knows how important people are to me. And he saw all of my friends, and he really talked up like his brother and sister-in-law and the friends in his life, like his friends. He had lived in Colorado for like 10, 15 years, like all of his friends back home, his friends from college, and just like made it out that he was this very social person, just like I was. And when we kind of settled, like when we moved in, just complete shift.
Wild.
Yeah. And like did not want to go out, hated driving, hated spending money, even like just like I kind of relate
with them there, but go on.
Even it's aside from just like being super social all the time, it's really important to me, again, like being from the Northwest, just like finding out spaces outdoors just to go with my dog.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to do that.
And it's like,
and just like just sat on the couch and just like pretty miserable. And so just like this, it was, it was a big surprise.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's weird. But it's like, I'm not a therapist, but it almost sounds like he was depressed.
Yeah, that's what
And, when you think about it, right? And when you think about what you were just saying, where you're trying to find a relationship, you kind of put on this whole like mask, right? That you like, I'm going to be the party guy, the party girl. I'm going to be the person everybody's really attracted to. And then you get the thing you want. You're like, okay, cool. I can take off that mask. Here I am. And all of a sudden you're like, who is this guy?
I can relate to the being 30 because that's how old I was when I got married the first time.
And still are.
Yes.
Right.
Boom. $20 coming your way after the show.
Thank you.
But for women, there's so much pressure, usually from your mother and society, about getting married.
Sorry, Mom.
And especially, you see all your friends getting engaged and planning weddings and things. It's not even a biological imperative at that point because that comes right after. But the first part is about, for some reason, 30 is this magic number. And my mother would send me messages pretty overtly. If you don't get married by 30, there's not going to be any good husbands left out there. There's going to be nothing there. They're all going to be married already. And when you get those messages, you just feel so much pressure that you better hurry up and get married. And that's what I did too. I was dating this guy for, 6 months. We moved in together. He moved into my house. We planned this wedding.
He moved into your house.
Yeah. Oh, please. This is
that
not
always
about
sets
me
off
today.
alarm bells.
My
This is a
drama
whole
could be a whole
episode.
episode.
Go for it.
He lived,
Danny's like, tell me more.
I met him online, which back then, you don't tell anybody that's how you meet online. We met online actually too, but that one stuck. But we met online. Turns out we lived really close by, and he was in a townhouse, and I was in a place, actually also a townhouse that I was renting, and he wanted his parents to move in with him, which should have been the biggest red waving flag. But there was kind of a pressure for him to move in with me, and we were dating, and it was that whole fast thing like you were talking about. And so I was like, okay, we literally lived across the street from each other. So he moved in, his parents moved into his townhouse. We were living together. Then we bought a house, and all these things were happening, and it was very fast. And, hindsight's 20/20, and there were all kinds of other things that happened after, which were more red flags. But I think I can really empathize with what you're saying. There's something about that age, maybe not so much anymore, because I know that there are many women now that are happy to be into their 30s, 40s, or they don't ever want to get married. But back when, this was back in the, it was like, you're going to get married. So
last century.
Yeah.
I think the pressure is still there.
Yeah.
Everyone has that relative. Where's your boyfriend, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm. You remember what your mom, when we got engaged, her mom, like without missing a beat, says, you guys are older. You should probably start trying now. Like I probably had met your mom, 3 times at this point or something? Like
and we were not even married.
We weren't even married.
And so it was
I was like, wow.
All of her like requirements about you get married first, it was all out the window.
Yeah.
The minute I met Joe, because she wanted to be a grandma and all this
Start trying. I'm
pressure.
like, whoa.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm saving myself for marriage, lady. Hey.
My parents are always really good about that. They I know they want grandkids, but they don't put any pressure. They always word it that way. They're like, you do whatever you want. It's your life. And I'm like, it's not a choice for me. Okay. I just ain't got anybody. All right. Let's wrap up on your divorce, Brogan, with this extremely long showers. What?
Yeah, some lighter fights. I get ready really, really quickly. This is something that we talked about. So I'm always late. But what might surprise people is that I get ready very quickly. It's my fucking around time that is
yeah.
takes
testify. Yeah.
He took just like alarmingly long showers, so long. One time we were on vacation, he took a shower so long that I was like waiting. I went downstairs, ate breakfast, came back up. He was still in the shower.
Oh my God.
What was he doing in the shower?
That's a lot of uncomfortable
Like in the
lathering.
morning,
Yeah.
a long morning shower.
Yeah.
It's weird. A long night shower, I'm a little bit like, okay, it's a long day. You're kind of like, you know what I mean?
Sure, scrub the day
Just
off.
completely like zoning out. And I went in because I needed to blow my nose. So I went in to get some toilet paper. I opened it. He didn't even hear me open the door. He
He's
just
in the shower
zoned
zone.
out.
He's in the
Was there a
shower
window
zone.
in the shower? Are you sure he was in there?
Yeah. I'm out.
My biggest, so I would try to coach him. Like if we had people over, because his bathroom was in the hallway, so that would be the guest bathroom. Or if we were staying with someone, I would coach him beforehand. You need to get in and out.
A shower
and so
coach.
Wow.
Oh my God. Now I've heard it all.
Well, we
my
all do
nightmare.
need a shower coach, but it's usually just to help with the spigot. Everybody
Yeah,
has a
it's
weird
exactly.
faucet.
Do I pull it? Do I push it in? What
Exactly.
happens?
You push it, then you pull it. They
Oh
gotta
my
go
God.
fast. What do you mean?
This is very hot.
When was this house built?
It's so important to be
Yeah.
considerate.
Of course.
It's really important. My biggest nightmare happens was we were staying at one of my best friend's house in Portland, and I was on a client call in the morning, so I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't say anything, but it was happening behind me. So he was in the shower, and it was my nightmare. My nightmare happened. So he was in the shower, and my friend comes up, and it was just it was slow motion. She had to knock on the door and be like, "Hey, I have to go to the bathroom. Can I please use my bathroom?" And I was like,
Oh my God.
Oh my
It was
God.
terrible. Yeah. And so I was like, this is
Mortifying.
what I
Oh my God.
Just a quick shot. Yeah. So that was an
So-
ongoing fight.
I think you and I have to have some coaching.
Little girl time, yeah.
We have to have a conversation. I mean, it sounds like this guy for real had some kind of mental illness.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like to me. No, it's not a judgment. It's just that sounds off.
A
You
little
know,
obsessive compulsive or
It's-
something.
something sounds
Yeah.
off.
He's in there too long.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he was just not even considerate or self-aware of how his actions affected anybody else, which is really unfortunate. And again, kind of good that you got out,
Yeah.
and you can see it probably more clearly in retrospect, but something definitely sounds like it's off.
I like that
with
you
this
didn't say that
person.
for the part. You heard the shower thing. You're like, he's mentally ill.
No, I want you to understand. No judgment here, but this is a crazy person.
My ex-husband was mentally ill.
Okay.
Well, I suspect he was.
Okay.
For 100%, his mother was. And that was another issue for another day. But obviously it runs in families. And I'm not saying I'm normal, but I'm just saying I can spot it. Something is definitely
Something's off.
Something's off.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So we learned about your divorce a little bit. But Joe, you ended an engagement, you were saying.
I did.
I don't remember you telling me that. I
No,
don't think we
no.
talked about this.
No. I, as I say, I was disengaged.
Disengaged.
So, yeah, I had been dating this girl for a while. She had been previously married, and she had a young daughter. And what wound up happening was every time I'd want to like meet her daughter, or, you know, if we're going to be together, it would be important for me to know her. She would be very reluctant. And then her ex-husband was like always stopping by her house. Like they got divorced and she bought her own house. It wasn't like the house they lived in, but he just would always be stopping by. And then she was like, well, it's really good for our daughter, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to have him stay for dinner, so I can't go out tonight. And, you know, that kind of kept happening over and over. And then we had been engaged, and finally the big like blow up was we were going to have a party together where I was going to invite all my friends. She was going to invite all her friends. And I'm talking like live band, slip and slide, jello shots. I'm talking, we oh yeah, we know how to party. And so it was, we were all supposed to set up together. Like she and I were going to go out, do the shop and get the booze, all that good stuff. And then about 2 days before, she tells me, yeah, I'm not coming. I'm not coming to the party. And I'm like, but didn't you like invite your friends? Like, it's going to be really awkward if your friends show up and like you're not there. And she's like, no, I didn't invite anybody. Like she had never even invited anybody. And what's weird about it is like, I had never really met any of her friends because and she kept me at this arm's length. And finally, after like this had been going on for a while, I'm at the party. And I'm having a great...
You had the party.
I had the party because we have freaking slip and slide and a live band. Come on.
And you're at the at the party.
Hello.
But is it dawning on you that the math isn't mathing here? Like the momentum is all off? Or no, you're still like, this is going to still happen?
At that point, I had said to her, I said, that's it. I'm done right before the party. So that's when I broke it off.
Oh, you had broken it off.
I broke it off.
But you're like, I'm slip and sliding.
I'm slip and sliding. And then, so at the party, you know, all my friends are there. And you know how like when you've got a friend and they're acting normal and you're like, so they're like, you okay? And I'm like, oh man, I'm having so much fun. This is great. They're like, okay, Joe. Yeah, well, it's okay. Have fun tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. And I never crashed. I never had that like tears. Oh my God, I can't believe my life is ruined. And all my friends are like, wow, you're really okay. Because I knew at that moment, I was like, this math ain't mathin'. Something's wrong. And to give you an idea of how sure I was like, I don't even need the ring back. Like I was like, I don't even care. And I had a girl. I have a lot of female friends, which is another story for another day. But one of my female friends is like, "Oh hell no, I'm going over there and getting that ring." She was pissed. She was like, "Oh, this is not happening." And she actually drove to her house, got the ring, and brought it back to me.
Oh my God! But you were never sad.
Never sad because I think at that point I realized this is messed up. That was in August, and I met her in October. So it was one of those like, and also, yeah, I didn't have a lot of time, but it wasn't that I needed to be sad because I wasn't sad. So, you know, it's like you get through a breakup, you should probably take a little time to yourself before you get back out there. I think in my brain, I had known it was over long ago. On some level, yeah. So then I was ready to meet Cheryl, and here we are.
Was there something about her? I mean, because you're a very together guy, probably because of Cheryl now. But
yeah, right, yeah.
Was there something?
He was not always an all-together dude.
No. Shock therapy has really done wonder. No, I think it was just a function of like, we both were professionals and she liked to travel. And, you know, she was like me where she liked cocktails and going out and stuff. Right. Like, so you had a lot of social things in common, but it was then, as, you know, we were saying with you, Brogan, like, you know, then it also is the domestic part also has to happen. It's great when you're the fun person out there, but then you also need to be compatible, like sitting on the couch watching Netflix. And that's what we didn't have. And then it's like, okay, this is a problem. Right. So, yeah. So, wow. all of us. And Danny, how about you? You've been divorced?
I had a 5-year, which I feel like is substantial.
Okay, fair enough. You know,
and it didn't work out.
Fair enough.
And that ended during COVID.
Oh.
So that's my experience. And I think it was similar. I think we liked each other on paper. I think she was interested in me on paper. I think I was very different than her, and she liked that because she was a big shot lawyer, and I was very attracted to her professionalism, her prestige, her intelligence. I think she was attracted to my intelligence and the fact that I was doing nothing with it. and opting to be a moron, a professional moron of sorts.
Yeah, which suits you, which is
Thank
good.
you. I'm very good.
You're
I'm very
excellent
good
at it. I mean,
I'm
unbelievable.
one of the best, I would argue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when life, as life went on, it was kind of like, yes, but I don't think we actually enjoy each other all that much. And honestly, the one fantasy I have of talking to her, because she was very argumentative, she was a lawyer, obviously, is I just want her to admit that I was right for leaving. Because I was like, you're not going to be happy with me either. I know right now you want me to stay, but I was like, you are going to regret me.
Yeah.
I promise you, we would have ended up in your mediation.
Absolutely. Or she would have done it herself, maybe, and then
that's
just
true.
left
And
you on the
just left
street
me on the-
corner. Yeah.
I would have been
It
decimated.
sounds very wise that you were able to, like, it's not like you had a big blowout and it was like, F you, I'm out of here. It sounds like you really thought about this.
I'm repackaging this story. I mean, it's been 6 years.
That's
I'm not
good.
going to sit here and
Well, we're
say,
your friends, so we support you in whatever version this is. So
the wisdom I'm now saying is certainly retroactive.
Of course.
I mean, I think with a relationship, what's so interesting is when a lot of us are younger, we're looking for the sparks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That person, just you're infatuated with them, or there's just so much energy and you really are so connected that way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't last.
It does.
Yeah.
And so the good news is after some therapy, I got it right the second time.
Nailed it.
And I remember there was actually
Who's
one.
the lucky guy?
Are you fucking kidding me? But I do remember one nugget that my mom said that I actually listened to. I didn't listen at
We
the
love
time.
a good mom quote.
Yeah.
I didn't listen at the time. I listened after the first divorce, where she would always say to me, try to like a nice guy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Try to like a nice guy.
I love that. It seems so
Because-
trite, but it's so genius.
Try to like a nice guy. Because usually we gals, we don't like nice guys. And the ones we wind up really being so interested in are not very nice to us.
Right.
And so I kept saying to myself in my head, I had this mantra, try to like a nice guy, try to like a nice guy, try to like a nice guy. And so I was, I went on match.com and I was really reluctant to be there because don't forget, my mom said after 30, you're screwed because there's nobody good out there.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
so, even, I would look, no profile, see who's out there. And I'd be like, ugh. And then, months would go by, then I would go back. Is there anybody on there? And, you don't want to date anybody that you work with. And there's only so many friends of friends that are even,
That's
know.
true.
And so anyway, I went on Match.com. At the time, you didn't have to pay. You could make a profile for free.
Wow.
People could send you messages, but if you wanted to reply back, then you had to join and pay.
Oh.
And so I had been on there a little while on the sidelines. I maybe went out on a couple of dates or whatever. And I was just about ready to be like, this is not it.
Yeah.
And then Joe wrote to me. And so I don't know what made me do it, but I paid the money and I joined.
She
so
paid
that
for me is what
put
we're
right
saying.
back to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. She
And,
bought my affection.
Wow.
But, again, long story short, we were very good friends. And when I met him, I didn't see the fireworks, but I had a really great time. I really enjoyed myself. We had a great conversation. It felt so comfortable, natural. We had nothing, no
No
dead air,
Yeah.
lots to talk about. And I just remember leaving and being like, oh, that was really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And so our friendship was first.
Mhm.
We just always, even now, 21 years later, are just best friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what holds it together because you like each other, you have the respect for each other.
Right.
We talk to each other before all those big decisions. We have a code for how we interact with each other in the public. We never fight in public.
Mhm.
We never say anything mean about the other one to our friends. There's just behavior
Right.
that is our code. And I think that's really what's kept everything. I mean, there's been other, of course,
Yep.
sexy time and all kinds of other stuff, but
Sure.
really it's this respect and this friendship.
Because that's what
You
life
know?
really is. When you think about it, it's a majority of it is taking out the trash and the dog threw up on the carpet. And, that's really what life boils down to. And to have somebody where you come home late from being out with your friends and you're you see the garbage pail wheeled to the curb and you're like, oh, that's really nice. Cheryl put out the trash. Awesome. It's just means a
is that
lot.
true?
It is.
You'll do the trash?
She does the trash.
Oh yeah, we both do everything.
We both do everything.
That's not true. Joe does the cooking.
Yep.
Oh.
Joe does most of the laundry.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have a cleaning person every other week.
But she's the vacuumer.
I do vacuum.
'Cause
I
our
do
dog,
enjoy
she has
vacuuming.
like a mother.
You got a shedder.
But when it comes to like fixing things,
Okay.
that's me.
You're the fixer.
I get
She's
out
the
the power
fixer.
tools.
Oh, yeah.
What a,
and
this
I
is so
love trying to
progressive.
fix
It
it.
is.
Such a reversal.
It's intense.
I'm the
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah, that's
but,
right.
But
I can lift heavy objects,
each
though.
of
I'm
us
okay.
does everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't take any tally marks. Well, I took it out last time.
Yeah.
None of that makes a difference. Whatever you're doing, you want to do for the other person or for the collective family, and the other person's carrying their weight in some other way that
Right.
you're getting value
Right.
from.
Right.
So it's
Right.
not like they're freeloader. You do everything. They don't thank you and they're just making a mess all over the place. It's really just, again, this partnership where sometimes I feel terrible because I'm like, oh, he's cooking again. Even though I'm like, I don't want to cook. I hate cooking. I suck at cooking, but I always thank him. Thanks for cooking, honey.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't want to take any of that stuff for granted and
Right.
appreciate it. And I think that's really, again, the other person doesn't feel like a doormat. They feel like they're valued.
Like it's a partnership.
It's recognized what
beautiful.
they're doing and you're saying it to them. I really appreciate that you took the trash out, or I really appreciate that you went to Costco after you had 5 clients and are like drained, that you like got up and went to Costco, or
You
like
did that?
I love
yeah,
Costco.
yeah.
I freaking love Costco.
Yeah.
That's my store.
You'll go to Costco after 5 clients?
I will go to Costco now.
That's
Like, let's
incredible.
go.
I open the day on Costco. That's
Yeah.
I need to be prepared for battle.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
he'll come
yeah.
home and give me flowers from Costco.
Oh,
So I mean,
wow.
really, it's like always
And
thinking.
he's reasonable. He's a man who
Yeah,
appreciates
he's a
battle.
There
nice-
you go.
he's a-
That's
I got-
right.
I got a good guy.
$14.99.
But I think it's really just, again,
Yeah, I
like
love
it
you,
just
Bouquet.
comes back to respect and being friends and valuing what the other person is bringing into the relationship.
Yep.
I want to
know?
talk about your 2 rules. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have don't let's talk about what is it? Don't fight in front of other people.
Yeah.
Well, the number one rule in
Oh.
our house is don't
Is?
be an asshole.
Don't be an
no
asshole.
lie. And it's before we even met you. We've been saying that for 20 something years. That's the number one rule in our house.
Yep.
Don't be an asshole.
Yep.
And we try not to ever say, I want a divorce. That's something else. People
Okay.
throw that around.
Yeah.
They're angry, frustrated. They start saying things that are
Awful.
really like nuclear.
Awful.
And we have said it. And then we feel terrible. Like, because
You've said it.
We've said it.
Oh, now
She's
we're
yeah,
getting
like-
somewhere. Now
I
we're
mean,
getting
it's like
Oh, yeah.
every day is
On the couch
it's not
with
a
Danny
picnic.
Vega.
But we
Well,
know-
no, but this is incredible because, I mean, look, you guys, I can feel it. It's like a body language thing. It's like an energy coming off you guys where I'm like, oh, they're so in harmony. And it's like
Yeah.
such a nice thing to see. But like, yeah, there's hard moments in life.
Of
Life's
course.
hard. I mean, can we talk about one of those moments where you've thrown it off? Because you're both such.
I mean,
Oh, wait.
do you want to pull out your list? Do you keep in the list
No.
still, or
No.
no?
But I like for real, I don't have a lot of vivid memories of those times,
but you've
which
hit
is
that point.
which is good
Yeah.
because that's a superpower of mine. I don't remember like the terrible shit.
Trauma.
I just find a way to, just
Suppress
bury it.
She'd make a
It's
good
probably
Irish
some childhood
person.
trauma.
Yeah.
But I actually do remember. So when we got married, now I was 35.
Yeah.
Joe was 36. I had been married before. Now
This
at
is
that
music to my ears.
at that
You're good.
time-
You're golden.
that house that I bought with my then fiance,
Yes.
I bought him out. So I had the house and we both had good jobs, so that's what I wanted. I bought the house out and this is crazy. So once again, I meet Joe online. It turns out he lives
6 miles.
less than a mile from where my ex was living at the time I met him.
Uh-oh.
He
convenient, though.
has the same birthday as my ex.
Stop.
Yep.
One year apart, but same September 21st.
Crazy.
No, same
That's
same
crazy.
birthday.
No, John
Same
was
year?
2 years older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
but September 21st,
Yeah.
same birthday.
I trust her on that. Sorry.
Yeah.
My ex-husband was John. This is Joe.
Oh my God.
And,
Give me a break.
And we lived, and they worked at the same company.
Oh my God.
I didn't know him,
He's a
but
clone.
That's
He's a
right.
clone. Give me the real Joe Dillon.
I mean, for real.
He's too good looking in person.
If you believe in that universe stuff,
Yeah,
I
that's
should have met him all
crazy.
along and something hiccuped.
Right.
Yeah,
And I
right.
met the wrong.
Oh, my.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
All
off
these
the
things.
rack.
Oh my God.
So when I met Joe, he was living like a couple of miles away.
6 miles away. Yeah,
Really
in the
close.
next town.
It took Match.com for that. And then, and so then Joe moved in with me before we were engaged, which broke my rule.
Yeah. I had a house too, though. So just I
he
wasn't
owned his
free.
house.
I owned a house as well. So
We're triggering a lot of the millennials with the home ownership
I know.
talk.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
This was an era where people could do it.
I know. That's right.
So Joe's mom sold her house in North Jersey, moved in and rented from Joe as the landlord.
yeah.
Joe moved in with me in my house.
Okay.
And,
For those of you keeping
but
score at
so we
home.
got married, but now he's in my space. Because don't forget, after a divorce, you like never want to get married again. You're so happy to have your freedom, your space, and he wants to come in with all his like neon beer signs and his furniture,
Drum
his
kits.
stupid
I have a lot of
stuff.
musical instruments. But your house was
And my house
purple.
was beautiful.
You had multiple neon beer signs though?
Oh,
or just
yeah, he had a
multiple,
whole
yeah.
box of them. He
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
put them up.
Who are
and
you,
he
bro?
wanted to like immediately take
Who are
over.
you?
He wanted to decorate.
I had 2 drum
Decorate.
sets, not just one. 2 drum kits.
What are you, Neil Peart?
That's
Give me
right.
a break.
And I think, like, in retrospect, he probably felt a little uncomfortable. He's moving into my space. It's mine.
Yep.
And he wants to put his mark on it, like that he feels like
And
he
not
belongs
pee all
there.
over the place, you know,
Yeah,
because that's how I normally would do it.
Mark's territory.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I was really losing my shit with all his stuff coming in to the house. And so I remember this one time, I was in my bathroom, and it had
my bathroom. Do you hear that? Yeah, my bathroom.
it had those double French doors, and you had to lock it across the top. But it's like it wasn't like stable, so the lock, once you locked it, like you couldn't get out easily because the doors weren't like secured. And I was locked in my bathroom, screaming, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I can't take this. I don't want this." Like I really was losing my mind.
Yeah.
And so
I was assembling one of my drum kits,
Yeah.
probably. That's why I couldn't
Sounds
hear.
noisy.
But
Yeah.
you know, like so you go through times, and we've had other hard times
Yeah.
in life. You know, about when it came to having children, we had some really hard times that are not appropriate for today, and we've had other really hard times in our lives, financial hard times, family hard times. We moved from Jersey to Chicago. That was a big deal, like you know, right? Moving all around with
Brutal.
your stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, you have this foundation of the friendship, and you know you have the respect. So we say, don't be an asshole. Don't do something so punitive that it's so beneath you to be so mean.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, because
to
it's
the person.
it's intentional, right? Like
Yeah.
we talked about this the first time we met, is that it's a really pretty quick litmus test, because you can't look at me straight faced and say, I wasn't being an asshole. Of course you were. Like, if you did something that was so egregious, unless you were raised by wolves, as we've talked about, you have to know in your heart of hearts that, yeah, that wasn't very nice, or yeah, that wasn't the right thing to do, or whatever it was. And it becomes a pretty easy way to kind of flip the script instead of getting into a knockdown. Well, you did this, the blame. And it's like, it doesn't get resolved. It's like, it's sort of like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? It's time to move on here, because this happened. It's out there. It's not, we can't take it back. Okay. And like my phrase is, okay, now what? Right? Because here we are, this has happened. And now what do we do? And that's, I think, a big thing that we see with a lot of people, where when they come work with us, that they haven't had these conversations. They haven't been on the same team. They are spending more time trying to like extract that pound of flesh and really like prove their point. And I'm like, what's the point? You know what? I'm sure there's stuff you do that upsets you and that you do that upsets you. And everybody's got their own shit to carry. So just get over it, right?
I
Just
think
move
the other
on.
thing too is this. If you know the character of your spouse, right? If you think about a marriage, the whole point is this person has your back.
Yeah.
You now are partnered with someone who loves you, is on your team, cheering for you, wants the best for you. They have your back. Why would you shit on them? Like, because
I've seen videos about that we could
Yeah.
talk about later, but you know,
but the whole point is, right, if you
videos.
really think about it, so anything that this person is doing, you already kind of know in the bank of goodwill, they're not trying to hurt me. Something's going on for them, and they're lashing out, and I'm reacting to it because I have my own baggage that I'm bringing, or, you know, whatever I'm thinking. But I think if you think about who that person is, it's easier to let some of the stuff go, without taking it as a personal affront and trying to like get revenge on them because you know it's not about you in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you know them. So okay, so it's don't talk shit about each other. That feels like a reasonable rule.
Yeah.
And
say please and thank you.
Say please. I mean, I like that a lot.
It's
honestly,
just easy, right? It's like basic.
Joe will always open the door for me in the car or in the going into the restaurant or the store. I always say thank you. I mean, it's just these little things. Please and thank you. Thank you for cooking dinner.
They do.
Thanks for doing the laundry.
Danny, they add up.
Joe will thank me. Thank you for, going and getting Wrigley in the middle of the night. Or, I'm like the mommy of the dog. So like I do all the nails and cleaning out her ears. And, Joe doesn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
But it's like just acknowledging
fascinating.
please and thank you. So it's please and thank you. It's never talking smack about that person in public in front of other people.
Right.
Never rolling your eyes in public where other people are watching you rolling your eyes at that person.
Because people love the drama. They want the drama. They're going to feed off that. That's how the whispers start, right? So you don't want to give anybody any ammunition. You deal with that stuff.
Not me.
Home.
I'm not like that.
No, not at all.
We'll go home and have it out.
Next week
but
on.
while we're in public, we are behaved and
Right.
we are not letting on that there's something going
And
on
what would
with
you
us.
say? What would you say if you're like, I'm pissed?
No, we
pissed
don't
right
say
now.
anything.
No, you.
Oh, you won't say anything.
We
Not
won't
at
say
all.
anything. We'll go on
So
and
he's
have
that
a
thing
happy
that
time.
irks you. You're just going to be like clocking, not acknowledging even.
Yeah.
If we're out in public
Yeah.
and we're in front of other people or we're, having dinner at a restaurant and there's other people around, we have slipped a few times because we're people, humans, but we will not hash anything out. And it's very rare that the people that we're with will know
No one even clocked
that there's
it.
something going on with us. Then we'll get home and then we'll have our fight.
But usually
And,
it's like at that point, it's like, hey, babe, what do you say? You ready to go? Like that's kind of an indicator that the evening's over and something's happened. But the language is the same. It's not like, are you ready? And you can always tell. And we've been at parties, and I'm sure all of us have been at a party where you've watched couples and friends and they're hashing it out or something's going on. And now the tenor of the room is just like, well, this is awkward. Like everybody's just like, so look at the time,
So
like,
awkward.
and we've all been there and we've had a situation where that's happened. And then, you find out, oh, they're getting a divorce. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So sad, but that's what happens.
Well, it kind of speaks to a thing that we were talking a lot about, and we'll talk about Necklace Gate, I think, shortly.
Yeah.
Here. But it's like
Yep.
being able to manage your
Yeah.
emotions is so core to all of this, because like obviously we all slip up. We're going to lose our shit every now and again.
Yeah.
But if the other person's reaction to you losing your shit is them losing their shit, now we got a real problem. Now we have two insane people. Whereas hopefully the other person's like, hey, you seem really upset right now. Maybe let's relax. I don't think you mean what you're saying or whatever it may be.
And something that's really important that we do, and again, we're all still learning too. Like we're not perfect. We have our moments, but we're always just kind of trying to cut things off before they escalate. Right. If you're having a bad day and the spouse is the only person who's the audience, they're going to get a lot of crap, because they're there. And so if we all feel this way, right? I say like you get flooded. You ever get, you can't have a conversation at that moment. Your heart's racing. You're like sweating in the back of your neck. You are losing your shit and nothing constructive is going to come out of your mouth. And so if you know that, if you can catch that and say, I need to take a break right now. It's not, and then we'll say to each other, this is a new thing that we say. It's not you.
It's not you.
It's not you.
Not you.
And then
Didn't think it was.
and then we just excuse ourselves because, you kind of just know nothing good's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
And I need a timeout, So we'll say that it's not you, but I kind of have to go in the other room where Joe will come down and say, I'm not going to watch TV with you tonight. I'm going to go upstairs. Please don't talk to me. It's not you, but I just I really had a shitty day. And
she's very sweet to ask for it. And she's like, okay, no problem, but let me know. And that's it. And the other thing is when these kinds of conversations happen, I think an important piece that we both do is there's got to be a redirect. And let me explain what I mean is that if I said to you, hey, Danny, what's going on? And you'd be like, nothing. And I'd be like, oh, come on, man, tell me. And you'd be like, no, nothing. Don't worry about it. Now I'm not going to let it go, right? I'm engaged and I'm going to keep pestering you. And you might not be in a space to talk about it. And you're like, God's sake, just leave me alone. And it creates a fight. So the idea for the person, in this case, Danny, the redirect is, had a bad day. I don't want to talk about it now. I'll give you a call later tonight. Thanks. Like, in other words, if you can be really emotionally intelligent there as the person who's having the bad day, it's like, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I had really just rough clients, real rough day. And then some other, we own our own business. So the website was down. Like, it was all this crazy crap, right? That just was going on. And Cheryl's just like, you okay? And I'm like, I had a really terrible day. I don't want to talk about it. And then the redirect was kind of like, my day was ruined. I don't want to ruin yours as well. Yeah. And I really appreciate you asking. So that's the sort of, I've now gently guided you away from me and then sort of sent you on your way. And they come in all flavors, and you get good at, instead of, fine, leave me alone. Then the other person's like, well, screw you. I was just trying to be nice, right? And you now created a fight where there wasn't even a fight. That's what you if you get in those situations, if you're listening and you've got somebody who's coming at you and you don't want to talk, I kind of call that the redirect. It's sort of like, no, thanks for asking. Don't want to ruin your night, or we'll talk about it tomorrow, or whatever it is. So the person goes, okay, no problem. In other words, the person can safely say, okay, good, it wasn't me. Right.
That structure I like a lot, because I'll ruminate, if I'm like, I'll be like, what did I do? What did I do to make Joe mad?
Right, right, exactly.
But if you had said, like, we'll just talk tomorrow, I'd be like, whatever, we'll talk tomorrow.
Exactly.
You said it's not about me, and then it's like gone. I don't even think about it.
Right, exactly.
It's nice. That's good. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. Okay. So before we get to the interview here, I want to talk a little bit about, so there's a story that you told, which I thought was just a good parable about, sometimes you love each other and you're trying your best and things just don't add up. So take us through the necklace story again.
So Necklace Gate, I mean, I think really it's like, after I was on CNN about this, I'm a little tired about it. But if for the audience, for Danny, for you, buddy, anything. So Cheryl, as you might even see here on camera, Cheryl has this delightful, lovely necklace. And so it's the logo of her company, Funderful Experiences. And so she is, one of the things I love about her is she's like, sorry, ladies, going to stereotype for a moment, but she's really frugal with like clothing, and like, she's like, I'm going to get a pedicure every 3 weeks because I don't, and you're like, what? I would go every week. Like, what? Like, and so she's really very good about like shopping and those kinds of things, and, never really spoils herself. So we have a friend who's a jeweler, and she was kicking around. She's got this logo for her company, and she was kicking around, like making it like a pin. It's a member, like a woman's membership community. So she was going to make this a pin, like to give to her members. And it turns out it was really costly to do. So I talked to the friend who's a jeweler, and I said, hey, could we turn this into a necklace, right? Could turn it into a pendant. And she's like, yep, I have a guy who can make it. And so he handmade it, custom made it. And so now, I'm a guy, other than my wedding ring and this watch, I don't really wear a lot of jewelry. So I'm like, I was like, Rita, what do we do here? She needs a chain. So she shows me some chains, and she's like, you kind of want something that's a little delicate so that the piece shows. So I bought the chain, and I bought the thing, and the pendant, and I give it to Cheryl, and I'm all jazzed and I'm all ready. Oh, this is going to be amazing, right? And so I give it to Cheryl, and then Cheryl's reaction is perhaps less than enthusiastic, right? Not mean, not unappreciative, but not like, and by the way, I'm an only child, so of course everything revolves around me. I think that's a very important point to bring up.
I didn't know you were an only child. Well, that's making sense now.
So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of things are becoming clear. And so I'm like, wow, okay. Like the reaction wasn't great. So, I'm like, she had said that, the chain. It was kind of like, the chain. Like she expressed something
she
about.
She shot it down right away.
Kind of like, she just said, this is a piece of crap. Get this out of my face.
No. But she negged it. She was like, I don't love the chain. Right away.
Kind of didn't kind of overtly say, but the reaction was such that I wasn't not like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
And
not the O.
And we all know what
the O
means.
is worse than meanness.
Yeah, exactly. This is a piece of crap.
It almost has a condescension, like a head pat, like, you thought that was a good idea.
Oh, how adorable.
Yeah,
oh my God. You thought this is jewelry? So So then I go downstairs and I'm kind of like, well, okay. And I'm leaning in there like I was thinking I was making a cup of tea or something. It's kind of at night. It's probably like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm leaning on the kitchen counter waiting for the water to boil. And she comes downstairs and like total A+ move is like throws her arms around me. She's like, I'm sorry. I love it. Oh, kiss, 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 you know.
And I had a really freaking bad day.
She had a bad day. So, you know, in my brain, I'm thinking this is going to cheer her up, right? This is going to be, this is great. We're going to put the bad day to rest. And so she comes downstairs and she, you know, A+ recovery and lots of love, hugs, kisses. It's great. And you know me well enough, and she does, to know that like, I'm the kind of person where I want to make you happy. And if the chain isn't what you like, I'm going to be disappointed, right? Because you're just a person and, you know, you think like that. But if you explain to me like, babe, this is so great. And she had a sound reasoning. She's like, and this is a true statement. It's just an observation. Cheryl's pretty rough, as we were talking about before. She is the handy woman around our house. She fixes the drywall. She repairs the leaky sink. She's that person. So she's pretty rough on her jewelry. And
Wrigley.
And our dog, too. Our dog is a jumper sometimes.
90-pound dog.
96-pound monster,
Lord.
yeah. So she's like, listen, it's gorgeous, but this chain, I'm afraid it's too delicate that if Wrigley jumps on me and swats me with one of her giant paws, I'm going to lose this and I'm going to be devastated. Boom, makes perfect sense, right? There's the explanation you needed. And then I'm like, well, of course. And so I said, I trust you to go buy the chain you want. She did. Great. Everybody's happy. Makes sense, right?
You were in a bad mood.
I had a terrible day.
You're having a bad day.
Yeah. I'm in startup for my company, the second company. I'm in startup. Startup's hard. You know, it's like every time you go one step forward, you make 2 steps back. Yeah. I'm the kind of person that wants it great right out of the gate. I was tired. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I just had a terrible day.
Yeah.
And I was upstairs. And what happens for me when I have a terrible day is I need to be alone. And like going out and doing something fun doesn't cheer me up when I'm in that kind of a bad day. I just need to be alone and I need to just breathe and like try to really like regulate my nervous system and calm down. And there he was with the necklace. So it was like
lurking.
And I had been, does this happen
Smiling
for you?
generously.
But like, do you ever get this way? You're in your head and you're having such a conversation with yourself and you're just, someone else comes in and it actually is like kind of like an interrupt, like, you know what I mean? And so that's what was happening. So I really was like replaying a lot of stuff, trying to figure out like, why did that happen or what? And I'm just in this terrible mood. And there he was with the necklace. And so it really was the not great timing. Yeah. And he wouldn't have known. Well, I did say I had a terrible day, but everybody interprets that differently.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
means you need a gift.
Yeah. And probably he came home with the necklace and he was so excited to give it to me.
Of course.
But I just was like, "Meh." And so then my criticalness came out because I did know I wanted this necklace. And I did also have a conversation with Rita a few months before at a Christmas party about how the pin is going to be too costly. And I met Rita and I'm like, Rita, you think you could turn that into a necklace? And it was already happening with the two of them.
Cool.
So I'm like,
it was the perfect gift.
Yeah. And, but I had this vision of what I wanted for it and whatever. But I just was a terrible person that day. I was having a bad day. I didn't mean to take it out on Joe's gift. I do love it. I wear it all the time. I get so many compliments. I feel so like happy and proud that my husband like made this for me. So it's like a really cool thing because I'm not into like all kinds of like jewelry and, I mean, I do like me some good jewelry, but I don't like, I'm not that kind of gal, like buy me things.
There's one other piece to this puzzle.
Although I do want a red Porsche.
Okay,
so
we can work on that. Sure. Wow. I think there's one down the block I can swipe for you.
There we go.
But there's another piece, and I think it's an important point to make for listeners, is that you also sometimes, not only you don't know what somebody's going through in their day, right? But then in this world, here's a piece of information, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, Cheryl's about to hear this.
Oh my God.
The necklace was actually made incorrectly the first time. It was supposed to get to you a week prior. And so I was super anxious to give it to her. It's got a little loop so that it can go through the chain. and they put it like on the bottom, so the thing hung upside down, and it looked
give
like
me
a
a
pair
break.
of boobs instead of a heart.
That's no good.
Which was kind of a little awkward.
I would have liked that.
Yeah, I mean, giving it to your wife is like, I'm like, Rita, this is not what this is
Yeah,
supposed
think
to
about
be.
the
This is
hanging
supposed to be
part.
heart, with the thing on the top. She's like, oh my God, I'll have my guy fix it. But, with the jeweler, it's like he's got to send it out. Then the guy's only in on Tuesdays. And so I was extra amped up to give it to you. And so that's part of what also kind of, I was like, I must give this to you.
I mean, the thing is, though, it's like what I was saying before about the goodwill. After that episode happened,
Yeah.
and Joe went downstairs, and then I was reflecting more because I'm always like up here. I always have conversations with myself, and I was like, wow, you really were an asshole. And I'm like, that's terrible. You just completely deflated his balloon. Like, go apologize. And I felt terrible. So that's, I think, another thing. I wasn't just so full of myself that I was like, go away, you're bothering me. What's this stupid chain? Like, you did it wrong. It was like, oh man, that was not the correct response. And that's why I want to go downstairs and apologize and give him a big hug. And, so
That's beautiful.
I think, and he could have been like, well, F you now. You blew it. Like, it's too late now.
Right.
But that's what I mean about getting involved.
And
it's
being
like,
gracious
why do you
about
want
it?
to keep doing that? It just brings you farther away from happiness.
That's how not to be the asshole.
And
Very important.
how will you repair after that? Because now you're going to not talk to each other. Like, why would you do it?
Right.
You've already beaten the horse.
And the rest of your
you
night's
know?
ruined. And then, who knows how many days we all have left on this planet. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you want to spend your days mad at your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, right? Like, you just,
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. You're just trying to all get along and have a good time. And God only knows what else happening.
We do have this repair thing that we do. Sometimes we don't apologize, but we just will go to the other person and we'll go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard about those.
And
Yeah.
it's
the arm.
a funny thing. And I don't even know how it started.
Our dog.
The dog. Because the dog always
Callie.
wants to give you the
The
paw.
dog gives you the paw.
Yeah.
That's
Unsolicited,
funny.
right? She's
Unsolicited.
giving you
So
the
you
paw.
got it from the dog.
Swatting at you.
She's just trying to get
Wants
the paw on
attention.
you. And that's our way of
The
saying,
dog's listening like, put me on the podcast.
Right,
Hello,
exactly.
I'm coming up with this stuff.
Exactly.
for sure.
Give me a job at the mediation company. This is a joke.
But that's our way of saying, I'm sorry. And
Right,
we'll
that's
even
cute.
say it in that language.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't get mad at,
Right.
you can't stay mad at that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay. And sometimes you
That's
are
cute.
still kind of trying to shake it off. Because
Right.
you
Right.
know.
But you look at it and you think to yourself, like, now as you're the person getting the, from the I'm sorry from the other person, you're like, all right, I can see how this all unfolded. I can see they had a bad day. I can see that they just got off the phone with her mom or whatever. And,
That's
and
usually a bad
that's
day.
usually the kind of like, sorry, mom, if you're again watching, apologize.
My mom cheers me up.
Well, yeah, that's
Aw,
good.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
your
My
mom.
mom is a mega supporter.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Have your mom call her because
Does
she
your
really
mom
needs
need
it.
a new
Yeah.
child?
Yeah.
We can look into it.
Yeah, exactly. I hear the paperwork's pretty
Don't
easy.
tell my mom about this podcast.
She's going to find out about it.
No.
She's got billions of listeners.
Oh no, I'll be out of the will.
Billions.
He knows your mom.
I love it. Well, thanks for giving us optics in your guys' relationship.
Yeah, there
This
you
is
go.
fun. This is
How
a fun
not to be an
journey.
asshole.
So we learned a lot. I highly recommend our first episode with me and Joe. I'll put a link to that in the description. We
Nice.
learned a lot about equitable mediation,
Yeah.
where you are a mediator,
Yep.
and we learned you are a coach.
Yep.
So why don't you briefly tell us what the mediator does before we learn about what the coach does?
Sure. So as the mediator, you're working with two people who are getting a divorce, and you're trying to help them negotiate all the issues they need to resolve. You are bringing options to the table. They're sharing with them like how things work in whatever state we're practicing in, because divorce is a state level issue. So things do work different from state to state. You're bringing options. You're trying to be creative. You're trying to help them come up with ideas that maybe the law or a judge or the courts might not, just kind of impose on them. And so we do a lot of that kind of like conversational. It's kind of, I've said, it's part cheerleading, part therapy, part legal professional. You're really trying to help people move through and past this. And sometimes to get them to agreement, you do need to help them manage emotions and things like that. And, we're going to pass it off to Cheryl. And once they finish with me, then drafting paperwork, writing it all up, making sure that this is everything you've agreed to, and then they go on their way. But a key important point of this, which we always kind of say, is when we think about a divorce, right, you think of it as like a legal issue, right? You need the law to get a divorce, or financial, right? Alimony or child support. But at the end of the day, it's really about emotions. And if you can manage those emotions, you can get through the divorce versus blowing the whole thing up, getting lawyers and winding up in courts. So handing it over to Cheryl.
Because you're with people 2 at once, though.
2 at once. Yeah,
2 at
1
once.
on 2, which is different than Cheryl.
Got it.
You know, and sometimes though, the people, they come in, they're very friendly with each other.
Mhm.
They, I think, have gotten to the place where they recognize this marriage has gone as far as it's meant to go. We have a lot of respect. It's always respect. We have a lot of respect for each other. We each think the other is a great parent to the kids.
I mean, this sounds good.
It's just
Yeah.
that we know our relationship, the spark, we're not in love that way anymore. And we want to make sure the kids are okay. And we want to just end things as peacefully as possible. And so, and it happened, it still happens now. But when we first started practicing 18 years ago,
Wow.
sometimes Joe and I would scratch our head like,
Yeah.
why are they getting a divorce?
Yeah.
Because they were so nice to each
Yeah.
other, and they would say such nice things to each other, and we just couldn't figure it out. And it's not our business,
Yeah.
you know, and it wasn't our business to try to put them back together, and it wasn't
course,
our
yeah.
business to ask what happened. We were just there to help them move forward. But we really had a lot of admiration for these people, because there's different ways to go about a divorce. The fact that they were being so thoughtful and so considerate of each other and the children
Right.
really meant a lot. And that's what mediation, those were the best mediations in the beginning. But
that was primarily because you had said something similar to this in our first interview, that
Yeah.
people were kinder. You actually, I believe, said they would go get ice cream after.
Yeah, we had clients who'd go get dinner and they'd hang out, and the temperature of the country and the general tenor of everything has really escalated. And before, when 95% of our clients would be amicable, now maybe it's about 25%.
No,
right? It's
Yeah.
this
really
is a stark statistic.
It's really changed a lot.
It has changed a lot.
And the thing is, you know how we were talking before, I had a bad day. Joe gave me a present and I shit all over it, right?
Sure.
I was having a bad day. So if you think about a divorce, that event in and of itself is monumental in terms of the stress and how sad it is and painful. But now you pile on all the things that are happening in the world.
Right.
Sure.
And we won't name them all because there's so many, but that brings your energy down. Even if you're not directly affected by what's happening, just being aware that it's happening, for many of us, it takes a toll. And things feel heavy,
Yeah.
stressful. The financial inflation, the gas prices out here, they're insane. That is stress compounded onto the fact that the marriage is ending. And so I think it's not that you can't blame people. In a way, it makes sense that they're nastier divorces now.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's like sometimes the friction in the marriage is directly coming from external things.
Yeah.
It's just that the couple doesn't know how to
keep it at
stay
bay.
strong
That's
together,
the hard
you
part.
know?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think, there's so many angles we could go, but is inflation and economic factors
Oh, yeah.
probably your number one?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
when you think about it, right, we were teasing about the house thing before, is that it was pretty common where somebody would get a divorce, one person would buy the other one out of the house, and with the proceeds that the vacating spouse got, they'd go buy a house.
Yeah.
Everybody was good.
Forget about it now.
You're lucky if 2 people, 3, 4 people could own one house. Interest rates are in such a place where the monthly payments,
It's over.
and where we all live is like, we always kind of joke where even in other parts of the country, we've had this conversation, housing prices in California are crazy. And Cheryl's like, where would you move? So for one day, for total laughs, we were like, let's go see if we could find comparable houses in places we think are cheap. So we looked at I looked in the middle of Texas, not even a city, in the middle of nowhere. And a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house was still $800,000, $1 million for and you're just like, no wonder this is crazy, right?
So now
that pressure is just
think about
insane.
this. There's couples who have wanted to divorce for years and haven't been able to because of the financial. Because if you're smart, when you think about getting a divorce, it's not just the marriage ended, we want out, we'll go get the divorce. You really have to think about a lot of other things to weigh your decision. Obviously, being happy, I believe everybody deserves to be happy. But if you're not happy in the marriage, that used to be kind of like enough to warrant divorce. But smart people also look at the finances, and they look at the kids, and they look at the logistics. Yeah. And so the economy has been so terrible for such a long time for people who are not in crypto and tech bros or whatever.
Yeah. Watch it. Some people might be tech pros.
Sorry.
Or hey, drop shipping also. Yes. Rolling in bank
but
and drop shipping.
If you are laid off and you're not finding another job so quick, why are you going to divorce?
Right.
You can't.
You can't.
If the housing market is so stretched and the interest rates are so high and you're not going to be able to buy something else and rents are higher than mortgages, why are you going to get divorced? Where will you live?
Yeah.
And so you have to think about these things, factor. Right? And then you can think about, well, if we stay together, we're going to continue to ruin the kids. Right? Because watching mom and dad unhappy is modeling the relationship that these kids are going to grow up and emulate. So you don't want, and they don't want that either. But
go ahead. The weirdest thing is that kids are resilient, and staying together for the kids is like not a great idea. When they're little, they're resilient. They're like, I have 2 bedrooms now. This is amazing. I can make one blue and one green. And parents, I hear that all the time. We stay together for the kids. And I'm just like, oh no.
But
I've heard it's worse.
People are trying to make these decisions, and they're looking at all these different things, the financial implications, the emotional implications, the logistical implications, right? Sometimes they're staying together unhappy longer now. So by the time it gets to divorce, people are fed up.
They're filled with resentment. That makes so much sense.
Right? So they're done, and they've been done, and they've been sticking it out. And now they can't anymore. They're like, you know what? I'll go live in a shoebox because I got to get out of here.
I got to get out of here,
So that's hard. And so some of these things that are happening, the couple isn't strong enough. They don't have the foundation to work through all this external pressure.
Yeah.
And it really makes things worse,
I don't think I've actually admitted this before, but I felt kind of guilty when you were bringing this up, Brogan, because you said, this guy found a job and then he abandoned you. And I think for men, there is an aspect of achievement that comes with having a wife. And, when I was with my girlfriend, I always worked digital media jobs. I was making $25 an hour in New York City, which is I was alive. I was okay, but I was not comfortable at all. And I'd had a salary job and I lost it. And then I got this job and I started to feel differently. I was like, oh, I'm putting away money now. I have what's it called? Whatever, the one that you save. Yeah, the 401k. But then I checked it. I don't have $400,000. So I was like, this is a big old scam if I ever heard one. Anyway, and so, it affected me, and but it's first of all, there's a glorification of wealth that I think happens on social media. People think they need it. People think they need, no offense. You want the Porsche. We all kind of want, personally, I just want a Camry.
But I would be happy with I would have
I can do that.
But I'd be happy with a cup of noodles, but I just want the red Porsche. I don't know why.
But I think about a red Porsche. It just hits different.
I want the 80s one though, the 944.
Classic. Yeah. Wow. You're fixing everything in the house. You want a Porsche. I like it. But yeah, so I'm wondering, if that's people are part of the system is that people think that things matter. That these bullshit things that I really don't think contribute to life all that much is having nice, essentially luxuries. Isn't a part of this, and this makes so much sense. There's so much economic pressure, and then they're staying together for too long. So by the time they get to you guys, they're like, I fucking hate this. This person is lucky I am not killing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're so fed up with things that are happening. It just so happens because your spouse is in the space with you.
Right.
It's easy for you to be like, you're part of the problem.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's but it's not my problem.
Everything. I'm
I didn't fire you from your job.
And I need a clean break. And I need to just start all over.
Right.
Yep.
But I think a lot of the times, when there's, first of all, I could speak personally, we're not rolling in the dough. We've had great years over the years, and we've had some really lean years over the years. We're self-employed. It's white knuckle sometimes, because it's all on your back, right? Feast or famine.
Gotta keep them in.
And as much as you're working hard and you're doing all the right things, if the algorithm changes and now your SEO drops, that affects your bit. So there's a lot of factors, and we get really freaking pissed because we're working hard. We're trying to have the American dream. And it feels like sometimes no matter what we do, we're behind the 8 ball, and it's not fair. It makes you so angry. And when you're so angry like that about other things, I'm not saying that's the reason for divorces, but it's a contributor to some divorces.
Of course. Economic pressure is a huge, huge thing in any relationship. And I think what we've seen a lot lately is exactly that, where there's almost this disappointment where people are, and we've seen this a lot too, couples are older. The divorce rate is much higher now for people in their 50s and 60s, which is interesting, right? There's this phenomenon that's been going on for probably about 10 years now. So, you hear that statistic about 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? It's really around 41%, somewhere around there. But if you're talking about people north of 60, it's probably closer to 2/3, because these folks now are in that place where they've done it all. They've had the kids have kids, and they're just tired of just sitting around, and they're just tired of looking at your face or tired of whatever, because if the world's going to hell, Brogan, like you were saying before, where you've got a mismatch socially, we see a lot of that with older couples where, typically one person wants to stay at home and, read their book on the couch, and the other person wants to go to Paris because they put that off for 37 years raising kids, right? So now we're seeing people really going, well, screw it. If this world is going to go to hell, I'm going to get mine. I'm going to live my dream. And I'm not sitting around reading books with you 7 days a week anymore.
But also people are living longer.
Yeah.
And people are more vibrant in their lives. They want to make the most of all the time they have left. And a lot of them stayed together for the kids. Yep. They, because don't forget, each generation behind us, they were getting different messages from their parents and socially, and you don't get divorced, And so they stayed together all these years, and they kind of did their job, right? And now it's my time, and they want to just enjoy what's left of life. So, and financially, those people, not everybody, but more of them had opportunities. They weren't living lavishly. They were putting money in the bank account.
Well, they could.
Right.
That's it.
So now it still hurts them when they separate, but more likely there's some pension or some cushion or something. They want to downsize how they're living. They don't want the material things anymore. They want to live a simple kind of life, but they want to travel, or they want to, whatever. So it's just really differences in approach for, what you kind of want out of life. But I think for the divorce coaching, it's really just to come full circle.
That's what I was going to ask.
There's 2 things I've noticed. First of all, emotions make divorce horrific, right? Because immediately you don't trust each other. You're hearing things from your friends or your family about, you should take him to the cleaners, or you better make sure you get the kids, or, there's all this distrust. You're at odds with each other. That was your partner who had your back. Now they don't have your back anymore. So now you're against each other.
But they know all your secrets.
Yeah.
But there's all
and your
this,
passwords.
there's so much emotional stuff. And depending on how the marriage ended, if there was an infidelity, whether it was a financial infidelity or the other kind of infidelity, there's just a lot of anger, disappointment. And so I think if people can regulate their emotions while they're negotiating and then get the support for the emotions outside of it, they will be able to get through the divorce more quickly,
right?
More peacefully, make better decisions, right? They're not flooded. They're going to be able to get through better.
Well, and you're meeting with them one-on-one.
I meet with them one-on-one.
Is that the idea? Is that where you're trying to get them to?
Yeah.
That's are you, is it emotional? Is it almost therapeutic in that sense? Or what is the energy of your...
Yeah. So things have changed also over the years. This is what's crazy. It's optional to coach with me. And so we don't force anybody, right? I'm not a therapist. Again, we're not putting people back together. It's, we have a resource available to you. We strongly suggest you consider it, but we're not going to force you to do it.
What do you say? What do you say?
That's
Because
it.
we're going to role play.
Yeah. Well,
So Brogan and I are divorcing.
yeah.
We're going to go with him, the mediator. Why should I pay you?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Here's the thing.
I'm a problem client.
You
Okay,
are.
here's the thing.
Damn it. Brogan, you get everything.
Yeah. So that is it, right? It's
Yeah.
like you mediate, or there's some of our flat fee all-inclusives that have coaching in there.
Okay.
right? Now, generally speaking, it's not often where both people are so happily arriving at the decision to divorce.
Mm.
One person is initiating this, and the other person we call the reluctant spouse. Even though they might know
other
things aren't
person-
going well in the marriage,
The person who
one's
doesn't want the
initiator.
divorce is, we call them the reluctant spouse.
Yeah.
The other person is the reluctant one?
Yeah.
Because usually one person is driving the decision. So
Yeah. One
a lot
person's
of
the
times
initiator.
one person initiates and the other person's like, what?
Yeah, for
Oh.
real. They don't arrive at the decision at the same time.
No.
Now, in the older couples, that is more likely, yeah, we both stayed together for the kids, but even then there's a reluctant spouse. So there's one person driving it. One person made the decision first, right? And when they make the decision, it's usually over a period of years. It's not a snap thing. It took me 2 years to make the decision.
That's about
To
on
divorce.
average 2 years.
And so I've been thinking about it. I've been ruminating on it. Maybe I've been confiding in a close friend. Is this
Yeah.
normal? Should I feel this way? There's this whole thing that happens. You took these vows, so you're not just going to up and get out. And so you're really, really thinking about it. Maybe you're going to therapy. You know, you're trying to figure out like what's going on with you. Maybe you're the issue. This is not
Multi-year,
you know,
yeah.
So you make the
Getting in
decision.
there.
Even if the other spouse knows that things aren't going well in the marriage, it comes as quite a shock when you speak the words, I want to get a divorce.
So let me ask you. So the question is like, who do you coach with? Do you find that you coach more the reluctant spouse or the spouse who drove and made the decision?
Yeah. So going back to Danny's question, it's the reluctant spouse in many of these cases. And so what will happen is because they don't want it, sometimes they don't want it, but it's not like, I'm not giving you a divorce. It's that if you want this, I know it's going to happen anyway. I'm going to go along with it, but this wouldn't have been my choice. And so those people, they want the coaching and the other spouse wants to buy the package with the coaching. They want that spouse to have the support that they need to be able to get through this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, also in a lot of situations, we have where the initiator wants the coaching, but what they're coaching with me on is not the same as what the reluctant spouse clients are coaching on.
By the way, it clicked after all this time. That's reluctant to divorce. I get it now.
Yes,
I thought it was
yeah.
reluctant to be a spouse. And it
Yeah,
broke my
yeah.
head. I was
So
like,
when I-
what?
when
I didn't
I'm-
want to get married, so why would I want to get divorced?
When
Leave
I'm
me out of
coaching
this.
with the initiator, it's usually they've made peace. Don't forget, they decided first
had
and they had
years.
all kinds of years.
Yeah.
So now they're not oh boo-hoo anymore. They've done that already. They want to move forward. So they want to coach on making a plan for the future, right? What's my new life going to look like? What hobbies? How will I go make friends? Where will I live? Maybe I want to go back to school and get a different career. They're more,
yeah.
it's
More
not
forward-looking,
They're more
yeah.
forward-looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am so excited now because I think we should do some role plays.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Now I feel like I know the whole biz.
There you go. You're all good.
So we're going to do some role plays where I think Brogan should be divorcing me because that just feels more correct.
It does, absolutely. I could see
be
why,
honest.
yeah. And she's had enough of you already, and you're not even married. She's a reluctant
Yeah,
spouse, so...
she's the
I
she's
mean,
the reluctant
is there
podcast
something
host.
brewing here that we...
Yeah, there's a
No,
love
we're just
connection.
friends. We're
Yeah.
just friends. But she's a great podcaster. We'll get into that.
We'll
Here
get
we go.
ordained as ministers, and we'll do a ceremony for them. How about that?
There we go.
Perfect.
And then we can
Okay.
divorce them when they're done.
Yes.
You're making us
Perfect.
blush. You're making
Full
us
circle.
blush. Dylan's enough. All right. Ready? Here we go. Joe, bring us into this. Bring us into like our first mediation, what you would kind of say. Like she's brought us here.
Okay. So, guys, welcome. Despite the circumstances, I'm glad you guys are here. I'd like to start off really with what I call strategy. I know that sounds a little weird, but in my experience, the reason most divorces go off the rail is because you let clients just do whatever it is they want. So this is your moment to tell me.
She's gonna let me do anything I want.
Right. And this is the moment for you to tell me about all the issues you'd like to make sure we cover, with the following caveat, if I may.
Okay.
Of course, Danny, I'm going to have you speak. All of these are issues that we need to be able to resolve that are going to help you move forward. So, for example, as much as perhaps you might not have been going to your families on Thanksgiving throughout your marriage, despite you wanting to, that's not an issue for mediation. Okay, we're here to talk about how we're going to divide your property, how we're going to take care of your kids, how we're going to help each of you become financially secure. So, Danny, why don't you kick us off? It looks like you've got some things to say.
She won't let me. We have an apartment, and I pay half.
Okay.
I pay half.
Okay, good.
And it's big. Is it big?
It's 500 square feet.
It's big.
It's 500 square feet.
It's plenty big.
Okay.
And I just want a third unicycle because this one goes off-road. And I'm getting to off-roading with some of my boys.
Okay.
And she's saying I can't get a unicycle.
It's a unicycle.
In my apartment.
It's a unicycle.
It's my apartment.
It's a
And
unicycle.
It's an electric unicycle.
Okay. All right. So you've got a couple of
If he
unicycles
needs
already.
a ride,
Yeah, it's the
I have
third
a car.
one.
I
It's
have
the
to
third
drive
one.
him somewhere.
I need to be driven.
It's a unicycle. It's one.
So,
it's one wheel.
Let me ask you this question. Are you in the circus?
Okay, and scene. You got me. You got me with that. Okay,
I mean, if it was,
that was really good.
it
Yeah.
could be, and I think the point here is that when people do come in hot at you, you are a neutral, so you're not making any judgments. And by the way, I've just met you guys.
Yeah.
So and it's funny, when you ask a genuine question, sometimes it does douse the fire, because people are because they hear them saying it out loud and they think they want to get a rise out of you now. You're a new person. And then you just genuinely
really
and you just say,
yeah,
are you in a circus? Because and then when they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I just met you. I mean, I've been to the circus before. I don't know this. And I've seen people in unicycles are really cool. And then when all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, so he wasn't being an asshole. He was genuinely asking. And that's how you take the temperature of these conversations down, by what I call detached engagement that we've talked about. You ask questions like you really want the answer, but you're not going to get in the box there and go, well, she's already got one unicycle. Why does he need three? Right. So that's part of it. You ask those questions, and it breaks that pattern.
It made me laugh.
There you go.
Okay, so now we're gonna try. We're halfway into how many sessions is a typical mediation? Like
about 4, I'd say, with people with kids, 4 to 5. If you don't have kids, 2 to 3. Not too bad. Yeah.
So we'll maybe say it's a third one.
Yeah. So if we're somewhere in the middle, we're probably in the thick of it now.
Third one. And Brogan, you're going to bring us in. You're getting another tattoo. Okay. And I don't like tattoos. The listeners know that. Okay. Go ahead.
So, Danny, help me understand. Yeah. You shared with me that Brogan is getting another tattoo. Yeah. And, if I just may ask.
They look bad. I don't like them.
I've already consulted with my artist. He's a very trusted artist.
Her artist is bad.
Okay.
They're incredible. And we've had our consultation. They've already done work on me. Okay. They are very renowned in the city. They've been in so many magazines, so many editorials, and I'm really, really excited. And it's already booked, and I've already paid the deposit.
Okay. So
it's a waste of money.
Yeah. So Danny, help me understand, right? So we're here to end your marriage, right? We're here for the divorce.
Right.
Right. And so
it's her third, by the way.
Right.
My first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could see why. But
he got you that.
Right.
He got you. Did you hear that?
No, I could see why you'd be upset. You have to let me finish, Danny. If we're going to have a respectful conversation, I could see why you would be upset about that.
I don't have tattoos. Sorry.
Right, exactly. So, but my point is that you're getting a divorce. And so therefore what she does and what you do from this moment forward is really kind of your own individual business, right?
And what I do with my body is my business anyway.
Oh, feminism.
Well, it's not that, right? And I could understand, right? We all have different opinions of these things, whether you're pro or anti-tattoo. That's not really the issue. The issue really seems to be about control here. And if you guys are going to separate and go your separate ways, then at that point, neither of you will have any agency over the other, right? So at this point, by virtue of you being here, and forgive me again, if I'm mistaken and you guys think you can fix the marriage, let me know.
No, we can't.
Because
No, we can't. We
okay. So you're definitely getting a divorce.
I would know.
So in my experience, what's really helpful for couples to ease in the transition, it's hard to sometimes go right from married to single. So start acting more like you're already divorced, right? And this might be a good way for both of you to feel that.
Will you go with me? Are you single?
Pardon?
I said, will you go? I said, will you go out?
I don't know if that's appropriate because, I wouldn't want to date my clients.
That's fair.
But,
Wow.
I do have other people in my Rolodex that I've helped divorce that could probably hook you
That
up
actually
with.
sounds really nice.
Yeah, so
I
we
actually
could-
really like divorce girls.
Oh
That's
my
Yeah,
why
which
gosh.
is good.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
Well, that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Great. We're going to do a couple of situations. Here we go. Our second story of the day. AITA for saying that it's my sister's fault her husband is divorcing her. But first, would I be the asshole for threatening divorce if my wife insists on being a surrogate? Been married 6 years, have one son. Wife has a childhood friend / brother who was abandoned by his family after coming out, and my wife's family took him in when he was 13 or so. He lived with them until he turned 20 and lives on his own now. My wife considers him her brother, very, very close. I met him and yeah, he's an all right guy. I have no opinion either way. They don't hang out often anymore, so obviously I don't get an opportunity to hang out with him either. When my wife and him were in their late teens, he expressed interest in having a child via surrogacy. My wife volunteered that when she's 30, she'll do it for him. This was never mentioned to me during our marriage, and I only found out 2 weeks ago. She just turned 30. When she explained it to me, I thought it was an empty or idle talk and shop kind of thing, but she insists she's very serious. She asked my opinion, and I am 10,000% against it. We're a family now, and this would be a major family decision. She ignores me and continues talking to him about planning it, looking up clinics, doing research. I've endured a week, and it feels like a knife in the back throughout every day. I'm thinking of threatening divorce. I don't want to get divorced, but I'm hoping it'll do the trick and she'll rethink things. Would I be the asshole?
Where do you start?
Where do you start? Oh, my goodness.
One thing that jumped out without getting into really the meat of it, I mean, he's telling us it feels like a knife, not her. But, it is a little bit dramatic. It's a little bit like, it feels like a knife. It's like, okay. No, it doesn't. Have you ever been knifed?
I think it's like, what do you really want at the end of this? Because what is the knife that it would be like her child that you don't get to be the parent of? Or like, and what's your end game? What do you want at the end of this? Because the divorce would mean that your family unit is broken up.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Like there's a lot to unpack, right? You could think about, okay, the woman in this case is the surrogate. There's costs involved. There's risks to that individual, right? Childbirth, mortality isn't as it was back in ye olden days, but that's still a risk to your spouse. There's physiological changes, biological changes. And then I would be most concerned that as with the surrogate situation, would his wife want to actually keep the baby or be involved in the baby's life in some way? And now if I'm him, I'm probably feeling like some third wheel because if her friend and the baby come over, it's like, this is your mom. Well, then who's that guy? Oh, he's my husband. He's just some dude, right? I don't know.
I think one thing that struck me was that he said she never told him about this ever. Yeah. And now all of a sudden she's 30 and surprise, this is what I'm going to do. And so that seems really sneaky. This is something pretty big. It's not like I didn't tell you when I'm 30, I'm going to get like face filler. It's like I'm going to have a baby for somebody else. That's the kind of thing that you would think would be very, very important to mention up front in a marriage, especially since it sounds like it was already predetermined. Yeah. She wasn't thinking about it. She had already decided, so I think that's a little bit of a betrayal.
Oh, yeah, because it would have been concealed. I mean, surely it would have occurred to her if she's in contact with this individual.
If you met somebody and you were dating and it seemed like things were going to become a marriage and one of you already knows you don't want children and the other one already knows they do want children,
you can't do this,
and you get married anyway,
Mm-mm.
and then you try to have this conversation, it's like that's something that really needs to be hashed out before you would take such a big step by getting married. Some of these things don't have a compromise.
Does the original poster, do they have children between them?
Yeah, remember they have one son.
They have a son. So, okay. And I think there's also something about that goes to the woman's character that this is, like you said, Cheryl, this is a big thing to hide. And, let's be stereotypical, but trust is very important in a relationship, right? Thank you, Captain Obvious. And that does really seem like a big swing and a miss here that, and then I guess the other question and I have is that as and again, sorry if this sounds judgy, but it's like the guy friend, what a brother, whatever we're going to call him, got kicked out of the house. Sounds like kind of got... Because he came out. Yeah. So what kind of family unit is going to be there to raise this child, right? I'm worried about this unborn kid already, like, oh boy, I'm going. Okay.
You're reaching a little bit.
Going way down the road here, but I was like, wow, oh boy.
Okay. All right. So I have a slight counter example here that maybe changes a little bit. What if it was an organ? What if it was a kidney? You got 2 of those puppies. Wife says, yeah, I mean, look, my cousin's whatever, diabetic or something, and I told him I'd give him this kidney. I didn't tell you. I probably should have told you.
I think with this, it's the same. It was predetermined, and it was big.
Well, it didn't come up. It didn't come up. What do you need my kidney for, honey? It didn't come up. We had talked about it. We also didn't know. It wasn't certain. It wasn't certain that they would need the kidney, but now they need the kidney.
What I also don't really understand is it doesn't sound like this couple really had a rational adult conversation about it. Yeah. She announced to him that she's going to do it.
She announced.
And he said, yes. I'm not for this. He's 10,000% against it.
That's a lot.
And now they're just having this like infantile argument, tit for tat about it. That's not a partnership. This is such a big decision that even if she pre-decided, they really should be sitting down and discussing it like adults,
And that goes to like, thinking about, like you said, no therapy involved, no conversation. And then is there anything, if you value the marriage, right? It's like, is the wife should ask him, is there anything that I can say or do for you that would make you more comfortable with this? Like, I don't know if there is, but like you said, she just kind of dropped a bomb here. It feels like.
It feels like she did. I mean, I guess for me in the kidney situation, I see you guys on the deceit. This like seems like something that should come up, but I'm like, okay, I guess I could kind of see it. But yeah, I think the thing about it is, at least from a heterosexual perspective, like this is part of it, folks. I know there's unconventional relationships, but for the most part, it's kind of like, yeah, like we're kind of involved in that way. And the womb is kind of a thing, just like cheating, infidelity, it's all related. So it's like you told someone you would let them use your womb.
Yeah.
Like that's relevant.
By the way,
to me.
Right. But I think also it's sort of like, how would you feel if someone who's like your partner announces something like that to you? You feel like you were put last in consideration. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's also, I think, just the fact that she didn't take his feelings into consideration. She just decided. And no one likes to be in a situation like that, where somebody's just telling them how things are going to be, without them having a chance to give some input or to be considered.
Yeah, I guess, okay, I'm coming up with another example here. People donate their hair. People don't.
It grows back.
Yeah, it grows back.
It grows back, yeah.
And so I would say, of course, yes, that does affect you. And obviously how we look is important to our partner. I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world. But it would be like, listen, yeah, you're going to have, this is a decision I've made. It's something I want to do. And it doesn't affect you, I would say, in a meaningful way, really. We don't need to be so dramatic about it. And good Lord, it's usually for someone with cancer or something like that. Mm-hmm. With the organ, I think I go a similar way, even though I guess the counter to that would be, well, if you have one kidney, you're more vulnerable. Right. It could affect your longevity, things like that.
Yeah.
Something had happened to you in the surgery to give the kidney. Yeah, maybe you have you have children at home, this little boy,
Yep.
But for me, I think what's different to me, and this kind of going back to what you originally said, Brogan, is that I think surrogacy, I feel like in modern culture, we almost want to like decontextualize this. I mean, that is almost what a surrogate is. It's like a decontextualized pregnancy. It's like, you're an incubator.
Right.
But it's like, part of that is like, but yeah, that's like your womb. Like that's us. Like we had a kid. And I don't feel like it's appropriate in that case to make a, there's a word I want. That's like when you make a decision without the other person.
Declaration?
Yeah.
Like an audible.
What?
Inaudible?
I don't know.
But
yeah, that's what's bothering me about this, where I'm like, it does seem like, of course they should compromise because it's a life decision, but that this is more directly relevant to a romantic relationship, especially.
Now, let me ask about the original poster, though. He's the one thinking he wants a divorce. Has he said to the wife, taken any steps to talk to her in a meaningful way either? Like, we're kind of piling on her a bit, but let's talk about him and saying, well,
he doesn't want a divorce.
Right.
So his strategy is, he says, I'm thinking of threatening divorce to get her to change her decision. So he's almost countering her.
So, like, again,
unilateral. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Unilateral.
Not unicycle. Unilateral.
But you don't throw that D card. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
You don't throw that D card just as a threat. That's not a healthy relationship. Yeah. That's not something that should be used as a threat. That's going to be the boy that cried wolf. Yeah. Because if he's using that, if he keeps using that and she knows he's not going to follow through with it, that is going to be meaningless. Mm-hmm. And anyway, you don't play with that word.
Yeah, and you like know? His whole "I'm going to threaten divorce," like he's using this, weaponizing it. It's like, instead of "I'm going to bring it up in therapy that this isn't working for me," that's a totally different vibe, right? It's a tough call. I mean, there's certainly, when you were sharing that, I myself was having like this visceral reaction. You're like, oh my gosh, really? Like, wait a minute, I'm sorry, what? Plus, in your own selfish way, you could think of him as like, well, now we're not going to have sex for a long time because, you're going to be pregnant and then, there's going to be after effects of that.
Of course.
And, our relationship is going to be really upended for quite some time as well. And, and plus they have a kid. And now, of course, I'm sure he's going to step up, but that's going to fall completely on him. And
of course,
there's a lot of pressures that would come his way that I don't know if she's fully considered.
What about all these medical bills? Maybe she doesn't have any good health insurance.
Right.
What if she has to stop working?
Yeah.
What if she loses her job?
Yep.
Again.
Well, she'll certainly be unable to work for some
period of time.
Unable to contribute at the same level.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And in some ways, it will affect her young son.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, that'll be hard to explain, right?
So,
how would you explain that to
But
a
I
kid?
think fundamentally,
someone else's baby.
Yeah.
It's like at the bottom of all of
the
this.
stork got confused. Sorry.
It's just a lack of respect. I think on both sides, for her to announce and for him to be considering threatening something that he really doesn't want to follow through with, that's really childish,
Amen to that. I think, I guess I think maybe where she's coming from is, she said this, she hit it, and maybe I think there's this thing, and I've had to combat this a bit on the pod, but like, look, realistically, being in a relationship, a serious romantic relationship, you do cede some of your autonomy. You do say to the other person, there are conditions.
Right.
It is not unconditional love.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to have sex with other people is a very typical rule I've found people have an issue with.
Yeah.
So to me, this falls under that umbrella. It's deeply personal. And I'm wondering if maybe that isn't where her head is at. And I understand that it is obviously her right. It's certainly her right as a citizen of a free country to do this, but it isn't something that should be declared unilaterally, as you said. And I think if he was being mature about it, what he would say is, everything we've kind of said, like, you're declaring this unilaterally, you didn't consider me in this decision, you didn't notify me of this, so you ostensibly, it seems like you hid it from me. And to give her some time and space, because maybe this is something that for whatever reason she really wants to do.
Right.
But to realize, like, nah, bro, you actually are like, you're kind of fucking our thing up with what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, even if she has this kid, right, and she goes through with the surrogacy, if he's got any kind of feelings like this now, this is a lifetime of resentment. I don't see how he gets past this. I just don't. Like, so even though he might be approaching divorce in an infantile way, if she goes through with it, it might just be where they're headed anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it could end in that way, but I think you're saying it's childish, which I agree. It's childish to just pull out that gun and be like, "Well, I'll divorce you if you do it." It's like, well, hopefully we don't have to resort to this level of communication and try to understand. Like, I mean, and I think this is a tough thing, and I said this on a previous episode. I do have somewhat intense views on surrogacy. And I see your point about, it sounds like this child would come into, this guy essentially doesn't have an extended family. It sounds like. I wouldn't say that that's super relevant for him to bring up. Are we aligned there?
Yeah.
But that it could be a concern for him. And the other aspect is, and I think if you are a surrogate, and I don't know how this is, I don't know the legal framework of this, but I'm like, yeah, if you're attached to the baby that you have, I'm like, that sounds like human nature to me.
Yeah,
to tell someone that's wrong and it came out of her.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, think about when they were 13, I think, when they were 16, when they made this agreement or something like that.
Yeah, like, it was when 13 or so.
13.
I don't know if that's legally binding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right. And plus, on top of all that, right, exactly what you were saying about surrogacy and would you want to keep the kid, and then and of course I'm a divorce mediator, so now I'm thinking child support, and I'm like going down that rabbit hole, and it's like I think there's a lot to this. It's funny. It's like this situation to me really kind of sheds a really bright light on the degree to which human beings fail to understand the complexity of relationships, like all the details that go in and the nuances that of all these moving parts and things crashing together and feelings and people and other third parties in this case, right? Is that this is where you need to sit down with a professional and you really need to hash this all out and put all those reasons on the table, because maybe the wife of the original poster might come around his way, might all of a sudden, she might see it as, maybe she had a controlling family member or something, and this is my autonomy, my stab at autonomy.
Absolutely.
We just don't know this at this point, right?
Yeah. Would I be the asshole for threatening divorce to my wife insists on being a surrogate? I think we're aligned. I feel like us three are aligned. I don't know if Brogan's going to defect on us, but I think what she's doing is a declaration. It is a betrayal to the relationship. And I would say she's the asshole. And I think him going this route would absolutely make him the asshole. And so for me, it's an everyone sucks here.
I agree.
We're lined up.
Agreed.
We
Absolutely.
did it,
Everybody sucks.
Look at that. AITA for saying that it's my sister's fault her husband is divorcing her. My 27F sister, 32F, is currently in the process of divorce, started by her husband, 40M. They were married for a total of 2 years. Problem started with brother-in-law wanting his own biological kids and my sister not wanting them. She was always against having kids, but the moment they started seeing each other, she started making certain changes. He had the courtesy of telling quite early where he wanted the relationship to go, and my sister at that point went from no to maybe to one day said yes. They got married, but maybe the realization finally hit her when we went to meet our cousin who had given birth. Yes, a new mother's body is not exactly the epitome of sexy, because pregnancy does things to a mother's body. I could tell sister was detracting, and it was still early in the marriage when I asked her to reconsider and end the marriage now, before it's too late. She was adamant that she wanted a child, but I could tell she was flaky. She never talked to me, but she would talk to our mother, and I would hear from her how brother-in-law was still going on about wanting a child, but she is not feeling like wanting a kid anymore. Oh boy. A month ago, brother-in-law reached his limit and finally asked sister to be up front, and she straight up told him she does not want to be a mother and started offering alternatives like adoption. Brother-in-law did not want to hear that. Sister came to live with us. As to why brother-in-law wants biological children, he was married and has 2 kids and found out that neither of them are biologically his. He pays child support but doesn't see the kids anymore. Understandable. Sister also knew this, but I guess love blinds people. She's here bawling her eyes out because brother-in-law started the divorce proceedings and doesn't want to compromise. Parents have been giving brother-in-law shit for days now, and so is sister now about how stubborn he is and wish she could see it before. It got annoying to a point where I told her that it was her fault, that she was not ready, lied to him, and now expects him to accommodate, fully knowing his side and that her foolishness impacted the lives of 2 people. Now they're angry at me for, quote, taking his side. AITA, if so, what can I do to make it right?
The first thing that pops into mind, the old blood is thicker than water, right? Staying with family and taking the family side. But then we all have a moral compass, right? That we have to really think about what direction it's pointing in. And there is a case for the sister in this instance to be calling her sister out. I mean, it seemed to me, based on what you shared, that this guy was pretty upfront about wanting to have biological kids. Mm-hmm. And anyone who's been in a relationship with that is like a deal breaker. There is, there's no half pregnant, right? You either have biological kids or you don't. And it just seems to me that he was pretty upfront about it.
I think that everybody makes the best decision at the time, given the information in front of them. You know, we don't all like deliberately go out to make a bad decision, right? We're always making the best decision we can with what's in front of us. And, you know, maybe this gal got to finally say yes because she didn't want to lose the guy. And maybe she was trying to talk herself into it.
Right.
Right. And then when this other baby came, it was startling for her. It was kind of like right back dredging up all this stuff again, where that was her original, I don't want this. So she got scared. And now she went back to the no. But she is playing with someone else's life and someone else's feelings. So the fact that she wasn't upfront, I guess I could sort of see how and why she might have changed to a maybe and then a yes. But seeing this new thing and knowing now the answer is no, it feels like it would be the right time to end that relationship if it's something that's very, very important to the husband.
Yeah, they should not be together. Like, that's the bottom line. They should not be together. And I don't think it's necessarily like, I don't think it's fair to say it's the sister's fault. I think that, yeah, we can, when we're in love, we can convince ourselves of things. When we're just like head over heels, when we can see like a forever with someone and something's really important to them. But I don't think it's fair to say it's the sister's fault. And also for the brother-in-law, for the husband, it's like, you want a biological child, then you get fucking pregnant. Like, then you have a baby, sir. Like, that's not, like, that's not, I don't know. There are so many women that like desperately like are just so excited to be a mom biologically. But like it always is just so annoying when men insist on having a biological baby. It's just like, I get it, but okay. I think it's just such a silly situation to me. But also like that is a huge curveball about his 2 other children.
I mean, that's kind of a brutal outcome. So, and he learned.
Yeah.
He learned.
How does, yeah. But you know, I want to say something is that, let's say you lived in New York City and I said to you, Brogan, right now, you're moving to Dallas and you have to tell me right now exactly your street address, where you're going to live. And you've never visited Dallas before. How on earth would you know where you want to live? Similarly, having a child, to me, you know, maybe a little being old fashioned, you know, I know the cool kids are having the babies whenever they want, but, you know, as a construct, we kind of still in that patriarchal thing, you know, get married, have kids, right? So kids are part of a family unit. Maybe in this case, the wife in this instance, she didn't know if she wanted kids. And then when she got in the comfort of the relationship, maybe then it was the first time she had ever actually considered it because she could see it and it felt safe. And then whatever was truly inside her bubbled up. And then, you know, hell, you know, we all reserve the right to change our mind. I admit this is a big one. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, that's a really hard thing to ask. Do you want to have kids, even if you were never married, like you weren't married? So I don't know, you know, she got a point perhaps of trying to convince herself and then changing her mind.
It sounds like she offered up she wasn't saying no to children. Yeah. She was saying, I'd be willing to adopt a child, which is, so it sounds like her primary reason is she doesn't want her body affected by having a baby.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it messed up the other person in the family, yeah. The cousin gave birth, and then we learned it's not the epitome of sexy because pregnancy does things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there is a point to be made. Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a tough one because it's sort of like some religions. If you are very religious in your religion and you meet somebody and they don't have the same religion as you and they're not practicing anything. Like maybe they're Catholic, but they're not devout. They don't go to church. They're not really connected to that religion. But you and your other religion, you go to temple all the time, you observe the holidays, like it's something that's very, very important to you. And then when you get married, you know, or you're dating this person and it's like, well, if we get married, the kids are going to be raised in my religion. And then the other person is like, well, I'll consider that. It's like, that is an example. So now the couple gets married. They're talking about now having children. And once again, the spouse says, well, the kids are going to be raised in my religion. And now this other person is like, well, hold on now, hold on. So I just feel like in this particular situation, it seems like the couple was kind of in alignment about having children.
Mm-hmm.
Then this gal didn't want her body affected by the pregnancy, so she's willing to talk about adoption. So she's not saying no to children. She just doesn't want to have a child. So I don't know how much my heart bleeds for the guy demanding a biological child. And I only say it because I see that he got hurt,
Right.
that he was betrayed.
Brutally betrayed.
But this wouldn't be a betrayal. They'd be deciding together that they were going to adopt. Someone didn't trick him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
He's trying,
100%.
trying to right some
Yeah.
past wrong here, I think, by
Yeah.
planting his own seed, if you
Yeah.
will, for putting it that way. Apologies, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean-
what there's on Reddit. There's such a theme of like men wanting to have biological
Well,
children.
we want
It's, like,
we
such
want
a bit-
biological children, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I want my biological children. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
have you found them yet?
No, I
wanna
lost them,
in?
unfortunately.
But
Yeah,
what
the
about,
unicycles
what if
are mine.
you want
God.
biological children and then it turns out you're unable to have a biological child?
Oh.
Then
Sure.
do you go down a path of adoption because you want a child? Or
Yeah.
do you say, no, we're not going to have kids then because I only
Yeah.
want biological or nothing?
And we're really
So-
talking about the sister here, right? Who's
Yeah.
because she's the one talking to her sister. And
Yes, we're talking about the 27F
Yeah.
is coming out of 32F. And let me say he's 40M. And I feel like she waffled. And I loved what you said. We are all trying our best. She wasn't sure. She was
Mhm.
like, maybe I could have kids. I don't know. I love him. Totally
Right.
understandable.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, actually, being pregnant is horrible. It's like one of the worst things that can happen to a person. And I feel like if you learn about pregnancy, and I have friends who have said this, and they're like, oh, whenever your bones are weakened. I'm like, well, yeah, then don't get pregnant. Like if you saw a TikTok and you're like, I don't want to get pregnant now, then please don't. Because that is going to be whatever happened during my friend just had a baby and she goes, being pregnant was the easy part. Now I have a baby.
Right.
That's
yeah.
way harder.
Yeah.
You know? If you're caught up on like, this is going to negatively impact my comfort, don't have a child. It is. Of course it is. But for me, I'm like, bro, you're 40. You got cucked. Sorry. That sucks.
Yeah, that does.
But a 32-year-old woman or 30 when you guys started dating was like, yeah, I'm not really sure. That's your answer. Maybe is no. Maybe is no. And then it's like, I don't know but he should have picked up on that and not been like, because I feel like guys do this, and I think this is way worse. They say, I'll push her into it.
Yeah.
No, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Don't push someone to have a kid. That's a horrible idea. I mean, I'm sure you guys have run into that.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be all over the divorce mediation scene.
Exactly. It's like a reluctant yes is far worse than a clean no. It's just because with a no, you know where you stand, and then it can either be renegotiated or it's done. Reluctant yes, you're never really sure if somebody.
And I think him accepting the maybe, like that you're all saying is like, I don't know, it was kind of like, not shame on him. Again, everybody's doing the best they can, but to just assume he'll get his way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's kind of misguided,
Yeah.
Exactly. But the real subject here is this 27-year-old sister.
Yeah.
And how does she characterize this? She says it was her fault that she wasn't ready and lied to him. And I see a lot of Gen Z in this. It's like, no, she didn't lie. She just was confused and didn't know how she felt about it. And her views changed. Not a crime.
Yeah.
Not a sin.
Yeah.
I feel like
There's
that's
a little judgment happening here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's an unfair judgment.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't call that lying, really. And I don't feel like she was taking his side exactly, but, this feels like it was a complicated thing, and I feel like we've all acknowledged that. You fall in love with someone, and look, it's tough. You love them, bro.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, maybe even the wife knew about what happened to him, knowing that they're not his biological kids, and maybe that's what's making her change her mind. We don't have that context.
Of course,
right?
she felt bad for
but
him on some level.
You would think, right? That even if you're not consciously aware of that, right? That's got to be bouncing around in your
course.
head like, this poor guy, like, oh my God, so.
Not a great reason to have kids.
No,
I feel really bad for you.
No,
so I'm going to
and-
have your
and-
kids.
And, right. And
Please
to be
don't.
clear, right. You said it before. It's like, there's a lot of people who have a lot of kids for a lot of bad reasons. Right. And it's like, oh, I'm getting older, or, oh, this will be my only child. No. You're right. It's you need to have this really thought through, because like your friend said, oh my God, now I have a baby, So what do we think? Oh man.
AITA for saying that it's my sister's fault that her husband is divorcing her. I think their situation, it sounds complicated. It sounds like they are both adults, and that's their problem. And I think OP was very judgmental and harsh for no reason. This was unproductive. What did this serve to do to characterize it as lying? I don't think it did anything. I think she could have said, I think you guys are both responsible in certain ways. And that probably wouldn't be necessary to say, but that would have been a clean non-judgment. For these reasons, I'm at, YTA, honey.
I don't think she's the asshole.
I don't think she's the asshole.
Oh, you don't think she's the asshole? So we actually disagree.
Yeah, disagree. I think the original poster has the right to say what she wants to say.
She called the other sister a liar. You think that's acceptable?
I do. I think so.
Oh.
Because remember, where you stand is where you sit. And that's her perspective. Now, I'm not judging whether her sister was a liar. But to the original poster, she, as an outside observer, saw her sister changing her mind. And I believe the original poster at some point was saying, well, wait a minute. Obviously, you're my sister and you're older than me. So I've literally known you my entire life. And this has been your message. I don't want to have kids. And now you've changed your mind. And now you, sis, are upset because he's divorcing you because he was very painfully clear that he wanted kids. So I'm with the poster. I don't think she's the asshole.
But don't forget, she didn't say no to kids. She said no to having a biological child.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm thinking about the poster herself. I think you can be mad at me. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is my truth. And I'm going to speak it to you. So I know.
Okay.
I'm
I
on the
changed
poster
mine
side.
back.
Yes.
I misunderstood. I think that this sister should not have been involved in this in the first place.
Yes.
Oh.
And so
And for
you
that
decide
reason,
about the assholeness.
Well, so
But I
she's
don't think she
saying-
should have been involved at all.
AITA for saying it's my sister's fault her husband is divorcing her. And I'm saying, yes, you're the asshole. And much along the reasons
It's harsh.
you are judging, you are being harsh. This is unproductive. I see no benefit to labeling it as lying, which we both agree this doesn't quite fit the bill. Aligned?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God.
the
Are we going to push
outlier.
me over? Or are you going to stay?
I'm staying.
You don't want to be
put.
fought with?
I'm planting this flag
I love
right
it.
here. Boom.
I love it. I'm not going to try to take a mediator out, folks. AITA for my reaction to my sister-in-law's divorce settlement. My wife's sister, Anne, 39F, is divorcing her husband, Barry, after 15 years and 3 kids. Anne has a high-paying job that requires frequent travel, sometimes weeks at a time. Barry works from home and has been the primary caregiver. I'm not super close with Barry, but he's a good guy and used to bring the kids over a lot. That stopped about a year ago. And a few months back, I found out they're divorcing. Recently, Anne came over to talk with my wife. It was emotional. After she left, my wife told me the outcome. Barry got primary custody, child support, alimony, the house. Anne is shocked and devastated. I said I feel bad for everyone, but that Anne probably shouldn't be surprised given she's been away so much for work and less present at home. My wife got upset and said I was being unfair to her sister. I told her it's not about fairness, just that Barry has clearly been the more present parent. She said Anne was providing. I agreed, but said that kind of job comes with trade-offs. She accused me of taking Barry's side. I said I'm not. I feel bad for everyone, especially the kids. And I'd say the same if roles were reversed. AITA.
Got to leave the mediator out of this
Listen,
one.
With this one, okay, so there are certain situations where we've had a couple, there's been an infidelity. The person who did the cheating gets alimony, gets XYZ.
The house gets it all.
And as a neutral person,
Mhm.
you don't say anything. But as a person, outside of all of that, if your value is fairness, that is really frickin' unfair. right? So there are situations.
Sorry, was there cheating here? Or are you just bringing that up?
I'm using this as an
sorry.
example.
I was just checking.
With this,
okay.
It's the same.
Hmm.
It's like, it sucks because this gal is working hard to provide for her family.
Absolutely.
And her job is requiring her to travel, probably work long hours, go to meetings, be on after hours. A lot comes with that kind of a job. And she's doing it to give her family a good life. In exchange, though.
Is she?
Hold on. Well, right. We could pick that apart, but it's happening. But that's a dynamic, right? So just look at it what it is. It's not about her identity, how great she is. That's not what we're talking about. But yes, that could be in there. But think about it. The other spouse is home, watching the kids, keeping the house running, picking them up if they have a cold at school, doing all the running around, the forgotten homework, the whatever, this, that. Each partner is playing a role in the marriage. The guy couldn't stay home if the wife wasn't busting her butt in the work world. And the wife couldn't bust her butt in the work world if the guy wasn't home tending to the kids and moving the house, managing the house. Each person's playing a role. This custody thing, who gets the kids and all of this, that is hard. But realistically, if she's going to keep that job and she's traveling so much and working those long hours, yes, she can hire a babysitter, right, to do the job that the husband is not doing anymore because they're divorced. Yeah. Or maybe she could give the husband, if he wants, because he's going to have to get himself a job, but that's a whole different story. But the point is the fairness of it and the reality of it. It's two different things. Him getting alimony, that's kind of fair. He put his career on hold so that she could grow hers. He needs to make ends meet. So like the alimony piece, I could see, right? You want to get that person able to, of course you want him to get a job or go back to school. But the child part, it's kind of like, I feel like it's unfair, but I kind of feel like there's a lot of it that made sense why the outcome was that way.
The outcome made a lot of sense.
Yeah, but there's a piece too that, in the conversation that the posters, original poster is saying is that we don't know what happened during like the divorce or the negotiations or any of that, because in a situation that Cheryl just shared, one of the questions I'll always ask as a mediator is, okay, if you don't like the custody arrangement, what accommodations are you willing to make to change your job, your lifestyle, so that you can be more present? And a lot of times it comes from guilt. A lot of times parents will be really guilty. They're like, I'm putting my kids through a divorce and I'm not going to see them. Like, boy, I could really feel that. That's hard. But on the flip side, can this woman stop traveling? Can she have an office job that she could get home at 5:30? Sounds like what role she's in. She's not getting to the daycare before it closes, right? It really just doesn't sound like that's possible.
And people who do this for a long period of time do identify with it. Like that becomes who they are. It's not like, oh, you're a big shot, C-level, whatever. I don't know what she is, but it sounds important. Yeah. She thinks it's important. She's not gonna step down.
No, exactly. But in this situation where you're thinking through it, this is where, again, this goes into that sort of I've decided pattern where did they ever have a conversation at the beginning of their marriage? Did they ever say, listen, when the time comes and we have kids, whoever has the higher paying job is going to work outside the home and the lower earning spouse will work inside the home? We don't know this. We don't know what happened in this dynamic. Yeah. And that's really a key foundational piece that we're missing, because if she was having this career and I mean, the traveling, it sounds glamorous and she's going all over the place and going all these places. And I mean, I've traveled for my job and it's not as glamorous as, when you're stuck in Tokyo at 4 a.m. and your plane isn't, hasn't landed yet and you still want to get home. But it's really, I think when we talk about the fairness, it goes down to what Cheryl was saying, is that the fairness of the situation comes from the reality of the situation. Sometimes they're two different things, but in this case, it is fair because that's what's possible, it sounds like to me,
Yeah, I think, we're getting, and this is completely natural for a divorce mediator and a coach, you guys are getting caught up in the actual divorce, but that's actually not what the situation's about, right? Because what happened was they're still together. OP and his wife are together,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just discussing what happened.
Yeah.
Right? That was the actual situation.
Yeah.
That the sister-in-law came over, that's Anne, and she is divorcing her husband, Barry. And she got screwed, or however, she was negatively impacted.
Yeah.
So this is actually a question about how OP came to her in this moment. She essentially, I think it's fair to say, was vented on. Anne was pissed. She didn't like the outcome. I think we can agree that the outcome is not that crazy.
Yeah.
But it still hurts to hear.
Of course, yeah.
And so Anne came over and said, oh my God, Barry's getting the kids. He's getting alimony after he sat in the fucking house with his unicycles and his ice machine. And I worked my ass off, which I think, say what it is. Each one has their trade-offs. One person feels trapped in the house and the other person feels like they have to actually go out in the world and do something, that we both get sanctimonious. Doesn't matter what role you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, in my view, then OP is very much just like, yeah, babe, well, that's the world. The world's tough. And it's like, well, bro, like, you gotta understand, like, your wife was just vented on. She's bearing a lot of emotional weight. And then you're just kind of hitting her with them's the breaks. Is that really the appropriate manner to take?
Well, no, for sure. That's like not supportive or helpful in any way. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, man. I'm going to plant this flag again, aren't I?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm with the OP.
You're with the OP?
I am.
To reality check that hard in that moment? Is that the time?
I think I'm with the OP in the sense that I'm going to apologize to Brogan in advance. Sexism goes both ways. And as I've seen personally, and this is a good thing, women moving up in their career and starting to earn more and more and earning more than their husbands. Telling them that they have to pay alimony, they lose their freaking minds. They don't understand that it's the higher earner that pays support to the lower earner. They think women get alimony, men don't.
Sure.
And that's what I'm hearing in this, is that Anne is like, how dare he get this? Well, I have some news, Anne. It's a mathematical formula. In fact, every state has a child support guideline. I think the guy in the OP here is like, listen, man, these are the facts. Like, there's no...
But I agree with you that those are the facts.
Yeah.
And that may even be precisely what her reaction is regarding.
Yeah.
But even if it was a male,
right.
Let's just switch it up and say it was, Barry was doing the more conventionally masculine thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And Anne is pissed. She goes, oh, I didn't get as much alimony as I thought I would get.
Right.
And yeah, I got primary custody, but after I slaved away in the house and Barry's out there and I don't even know what he did in Thailand.
Wow.
I would say, well, and then you could come at her and say, well, come on, you did so great. But it's like, no, but that's just not the emotional energy here. This isn't a facts conversation because we agree on the facts. I think OP's issue is not that they are wrong. I believe they're right. I believe you're almost an expert witness here that you're saying he's right. I believe he's right. I think what he's doing is misreading the room and that it's heavy. It's heavy. I mean, I've had some talks with friends about this. Like, how long is too long to vent?
Yeah.
Obviously there's certain situations where you gotta be ready to fucking sit there and just take it. I think divorce is one of them. If you're a good friend, you're gonna be in. I mean, you guys know.
Yeah, you're gonna talk for a while.
the look you did, just it's like, I don't know, hour, but must be wretched to sit there and have to, not wretched, but like exhausting to take all this hot air being thrown on you from your friend who's got in this nightmare situation. And then it's like you go to your spouse and they're like, well, the facts are the facts. And it's like, okay, bro, can you please bear some of the weight with me?
I think, listen, that person, this guy who's like, that's how it goes. Sounds like he's not overly invested in the drama that's going on.
Yeah.
And just wants no part of it.
Yeah.
And so it also might be, again, just to add that's inconsiderate, that kind of talk. On the other hand, maybe that's his nicer way of saying, will you just stop freaking talking about this shit? I'm so sick of this.
Right.
And instead it was like, well, that's how it goes. Like, in other words, can we move on? Can this conversation be over?
And there's another piece. It ties into what I said. I think that stereotype about alimony and men and women. We don't know anything about the OP, and he could just be thinking, well, hey, man, if it was this, when you just talked about Barry in Thailand, and it's like if the situation was reversed, and of course you'd expect Barry to pay alimony because he's a man and the women should get the alimony. So that's why I'm feeling for the OP, just because he's probably feeling a little weight of that, maybe matriarchy in the opposite way, right? He's like, well, wait a minute, what's the problem here?
I think that gal needs some divorce coaching. Your friends are there for you to listen to the stuff, but there does come a point.
Yeah.
If it's been going on and on and on and on.
Well, it's her sister too.
Yes, your sister wants to be there for you, loves you, cares about you, of course, is going to be involved in some of that, drama. But after you vent, it is time to reflect and move forward and find some support, professional support to work through it, because that will eat you alive. You have to find a way forward from there. There are people who never get over the stuff that happens during their divorce. It ruins their life. It's like, what do they say? Like the acid, the person who...
the Seneca quote where acid does more damage to the vessel and, it resides into those around it, something like that.
You know what we're talking about?
Eat you from the inside out, basically.
Yeah.
It's like there does come a point in life, whether it's fair or not fair, won't change what happened. You need to find a way, or maybe there's some renegotiation, who knows? But it's just to find a way to move forward.
Absolutely. Wait, you guys are saying don't hold a lot of hate in my heart?
Yeah, well, I know.
Try to let it go.
Let it go, man. I know you're filled with rage. I understand.
I know, I'm rageful.
I mean, you could throw things and break things, but just try to let it go
puppies.
and then move
Do
on.
not kick puppies.
I really let it go. All my exes are wonderful. They really were. They dated me, which is honestly really nice of them. I mean, until it wasn't.
That's true, yeah. But the pay was probably good, is my guess.
Reddit said, no assholes here. You're not an asshole, but how did you not see this coming? Your wife just had a long emotional convo with her sister and then vented to you about it. She wasn't looking for a rational response or analysis. She was looking to vent. You're not wrong, but you weren't smart. Misread the room.
Yeah, I could agree with
Agree.
that. Not
okay.
An asshole.
Okay, we're
not
bringing
an
you back
asshole,
in.
But yeah.
I told my wife that this is a crappy situation, da-da-da-da-da. It would have been fine if OP stopped before the but, because he said, but that Anne probably shouldn't be surprised about her outcome, considering that she hasn't been a very present wife or mother due to her job. That, to me, also feels a little bit judgmental, and it's like, come on, this is just, I mean, honestly, this is almost contrived in the fact that it's almost a precise inversion, gender-wise, of such a, classic heterosexual, I stay home with the kids, you do everything, or you go out into the world.
Like maybe that husband could have just been like, I'm sorry, babe, that you have to be, that your sister's so hurting and that you're being a good sister to listen and be there for her.
Boom!
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah.
God, what are you, a professional?
Yeah.
Now get me a beer.
AITA for my reaction to my sister-in-law's divorce settlement. For me, this does cross into asshole territory. I have a standard, which is, does he owe an apology to his wife? Yes, he does. I have another example. Maybe this. You're a baseball fan, if I recall correctly.
I'm a baseball fan.
Now, I'm sure you get into the games.
Oh yeah.
You care.
Oh yeah.
You get emotional. My dad gets almost histrionic. The man has very few emotions, but they come out when his Dolphins are playing bullshit games. He gets so into it. He really cares. Now, he understands rationally, as you understand rationally. You're watching a bunch of grown men play a ridiculous game. I mean, it's not even a real sport like tennis.
Oh, wow.
But, if you were upset about your game, you go, oh, yeah, what's your team?
Chicago Cubs.
Oh, the Chicago Cubs lost. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm so sad. I go, Joe. It's just a sport, right? It doesn't actually matter. Wouldn't that be a little douchey? Oh my God, please don't attack me.
I mean, the good news in our house is we would both be screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Cubs fan?
Oh my God. How could you not be?
Yeah.
Of course.
What's wrong with you?
Did you convert her or were you always?
No,
yeah,
my God, we lived in Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
We are Cubs fans.
We literally lived in Wrigleyville, Chicago.
Our dog's name is Wrigley.
Our dog's name is Wrigley.
You have wow, this is a good play.
We
This
have
is
3
well
blocks
done.
from Wrigley
This is
Field,
well
so
done.
yeah, this is.
I regret using this as an example.
It is, and that's it.
And by the way, there have been more than one game that I've had to leave the room.
Yeah.
because
you're
I
so
can't
upset.
take it.
She
yeah.
gets angrier than I do.
But I don't get upset. I get actually like
Violent.
Yeah.
And that's why I have
It's
makeup
very
under my
difficult. I
eye, the
don't like
black
to
eye,
lose.
cover the eye.
I don't mind losing
She gets
if they
upset.
show up and play
Yeah.
a good game. But they have so much talent. If they're not showing up and they lose, I really can't be there. It's very difficult for me to be there. I have to leave
But
the
I
room.
know what you mean about it's like you have to sort of kind of balance, right? But I think, with emotions, it's hard. And, going back to the OP here, just even talking about this for a little bit, maybe his wife had been going on forever and ever about it too, like you had said. There's a lot, a lot of these things have a lot of context that we're kind of missing,
That's fair. But with the context we're giving, I am saying AITA for my reaction to my sister-in-law's divorce settlement. I'm saying YTA. I think it was a failure to read the room. It was factual. It was a reality check. And it was inappropriate for that moment. He should have said exactly what you said, which was perfect. So I'm at YTA. Are you still defecting?
Keeping the plan.
You're
Keeping
saying
the
no
fight.
assholes here?
No, I don't think he is.
NTA and she is?
No.
No assholes here.
I don't think no assholes here.
Okay. That's your right. AITA for not inviting my friend's wife to my birthday dinner. My 40th birthday is in August, and I'm planning a big party to celebrate. Prior to the party, I'm hosting a private dinner for 40 of my
Wow.
close friends and family.
This guy has some friends, man.
Good God. I'm paying for both the party and the dinner. I sent the invitations a few weeks ago. One of my closest childhood friends asked why his wife wasn't invited to the private dinner. I explained that the dinner was for close friends and family only. They've been married for 2.5 years. I was in the wedding and I've interacted with her plenty since, but my stance is that her being his wife doesn't make her my close friend. We're cordial and friendly, but there's people more important to me that I want to celebrate with at the dinner. What he doesn't know is that I'm giving gifts to everyone at the dinner. Nothing major, just something that's special and unique to the relationship I have with that person. For the friend I mentioned, I'm gifting him with a vinyl copy of Volume 2 Hard Knock Life, since that's an album that basically made us friends. His wife and one of her homegirls I became cool with is invited to the party afterwards, but he thinks it's rude to not invite her to the dinner. He offered to pay for his wife's meal, but I explained to him it's not about the money. This is my chance to gather my people in a room and thank them for the role they've played in my life. He thinks his wife should be in that number. I don't. RSVPs are due next week, and I sent a reminder text to him and a few other people. His response was, is my wife still not invited? At this point, I'm ready to disinvite him. Not sure if it would make me an asshole. He is not the only married friend, family member whose SO I didn't invite either, but AITA. But he was the only one who complained, AITA.
So
I'm just really
here's
excited.
the thing.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
If you
I
have
never do.
So think about this. It's not the wedding, it's the birthday. It's a birthday.
It's an
40th important birthday.
A landmark
Yeah, it's an
milestone
important
birthday, we might say.
And he's paying for the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is not about the money because it sounds like the guy offered to pay for his wife.
Yes, and he's
Right?
getting everyone an individual gift.
So
Yeah.
a couple things. So first, what I'm thinking is this birthday boy, he only wants the important people in his life in this dinner
Yeah.
so that he can give the gifts. And really, these are the most important people to him in his life. So yes, in that regard, it makes sense that the friend's wife wouldn't be included.
Sure.
It's like if there were other couples where one of the spouses isn't a close friend and is invited, that might be raise an eyebrow like, well, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know why it's so important to the friend that the wife be there. It's not an insult to them as people. It's not a snub to the wife. The guy explained why he wants to have this dinner.
Did he explain though?
Yeah, well, his reasoning was that he's giving everyone an individual gift. because of
And
how
that it's the
close they
important
are.
people in his
And
life.
the most important people.
Because if the wife was there and she's just the one that didn't get a gift, but everybody else got a gift, if she was a good sport and understood what these gifts were, like if I was the wife and I was at this party and everybody else in the room got a gift and not me, if I didn't really even know this guy very long, I wouldn't be upset that I didn't get a gift.
Of course.
I'd be like, that's great. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for me to get one anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's just the invitation to be at the dinner, I personally like the threatening of I'm only going to come if my wife is allowed and all of that. That's just kind of odd. That seems kind of odd. I sort of understand the birthday boy's logic. He wants to have this special dinner and he wants to have these important people there. and it doesn't include everybody's spouses. Now, if there was a couple that's been married a zillion years and the spouse became his good friend too and got invited to the dinner, that makes sense. But this is this new spouse, 2.5 years married, doesn't really know the birthday boy. It is unusual.
But I guess,
But I don't think that
I'm excited.
I don't think the guy's a jerk.
No, but it's like, if this guy is bringing these people into the room, these are his nearest and dearest, most bestest friends.
40
of his best friends, which
40
I'm very
of his
jealous.
close friends.
They're good
He's
for
got
him,
good friends.
right? Exactly. It's like, isn't then by extension, if this is my best friend and then my best friend chose this person, the spouse, to be their best friend, right? Their love of their life, then shouldn't I, as the birthday party, the OP, by inference, invite her? Because if she's special to him and he's special to me, then by definition, she should be at least at my party. I don't have to buy her a gift.
If it's a wedding, I can see that logic.
Okay.
Right? If it's a wedding. Because, right, some people have weddings and they don't invite people to bring a +1.
Yeah, true,
You know?
true.
That's kind of crazy.
Like, we didn't I don't think we did that. It was like, we would invite the single person and a guest. Like, in other words, if you're dating somebody, if you want to bring your sister, like, that's the way we did it for our wedding.
They
we
could
didn't
bring a guest.
Yeah.
They could if they knew him. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, bring your friend.
But,
you know,
but
like
it was
your
like, but
random
it was
+1,
the
yeah.
understanding, like, we didn't exclude. You know what I mean?
Of course,
it's like,
of course.
But some people I know do that. If
Well,
they're on
wedding's
a
a whole
tight
thing,
budget
too.
or,
Yeah.
whatever, that they would only invite the one person, not the +1. Or you have a business party and you're invited as the employee and you can't bring a +1. All these +1s are sometimes included and sometimes not. I guess it is unusual, to your point, right, that the birthday boy kind of could have been a good sport. This is my great friend and his wife, so I'm going to bring her
Sure.
into it. On the other hand, if there's some reason that these 40 people are so very important to this guy and he only wants them there for a dinner, I guess I really just don't understand what's the big deal.
Brogan.
Yeah, I think to me, like, the number is so absurd. If it's like 10 people and he's like, oh, it's just like a really, really fancy, there's like 10 courses, whatever, it's just 10 people, like I had to like call so far in advance, then it's like, okay, I understand. But like for 40 people and it's like, okay, my wife can't come.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's like, if my husband got a gift, then that's like, I would be so excited to just like watch him, unbox it. And okay, also I would want like a more information because, okay, so I'm curious, because she's invited to the thing after, is this a situation of transportation where like it might be in a city where it's like a 45-minute drive or something like that, where it's like, okay, so I have to come in and then my wife has to pay for another Uber, like whatever.
That'll be a pain in the neck. I
Yeah,
think that's fair to
exactly.
assume.
So I'm curious about that. But
we're very much aligning.
Yeah.
And though I guess I could hear, you seemed excited, but I hear someone go, I have 40 close friends. And I say, you are a liar. That's
Yeah.
impossible. You can't
Yeah.
have 40
people who have,
friends?
right. I mean,
But
people have
maybe
5.
it is. Maybe the guy is in a military family
5.
and they moved all the time and he collected up these friends.
He's talking, this guy is, no, you know, I'm
It's
sorry.
possible. I
It
guess
is
it's
possible. What is he? He's 40 years old?
Yeah, he's 40.
Hey, listen, some people.
I don't know 40 people.
Thank you.
You know, I mean,
Maybe you
I
are
got-
the one that has the problem.
I'm not the problem. This is saying, look, he's saying he's got 40 close friends,
Come
right?
on.
By definition, people have 1 or 2 close friends, maybe 5.
Amen.
And then-
Some people stay really good friends with childhood friends,
But
college
that's what I'm
friends.
But they're
saying.
not really close.
But they're not
I understand what you're
close.
saying. They're meaningful connections.
I have
from
friends
someone's
that, I have
past.
friends from college that I talk to once a year because I thank them for their Christmas card. Like,
But I have friends that I've met now who are still friends, close friends, with like 10 of their sorority sisters, and they go away every
10,
summer for
right.
a week.
But Brogan
maybe there's
said-
that. Then there's the friends you've made as an adult. Then there's the friends you've made that are like relatives of yours.
But you heard what you said. Like, this guy is saying it's 40 people who have shaped his life in a meaningful way. And to me, by that requires some investment of time, right? I met Brogan today, and you know, Brogan's very lovely, but I'm not going to leave here tonight and go like, she really shaped my life in a meaningful way.
You're not going to get an invitation to the
Brogan,
dinner.
I told you to shape his life. We have to make an impression on these people.
She was awesome.
But you
I hope
will
we
get
see
the
her
invite
again.
to the after party.
Right, exactly.
I'll
But
take
you'll
it.
come to the after party.
take it.
Right. And I'm with you. It's like, if it was 10 people, 11, that's 10%.
That's the apostles.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If it's 40, you're talking 2.5% of an
But
additional
why
guest.
are you judging 40? But just stop 1 second. Taylor Swift's going to get married.
She is?
And she's going to have
You didn't hear that?
who
You're
knows
behind.
how many people at this wedding.
Hundreds, probably.
Right? Hundreds, thousands. I would venture to guess that she's got some pretty close friends or people that are friends, people who are meaningful to me. The person who gave her first record deal, the person who gave her first whatever. You know, it's like, as you go through life, there are people who are very important to you, who have shaped you, that you remember whether you stay excellent friends with them or not. There are people that I don't have 40 friends. I wish I could. Maybe I'm on that track with this new company. I hope I have seven friends. But honestly, like,
You
if
have
you
seven?
think I have seven,
I have this many.
Okay.
and it used to
Please
only be Joe.
be my
now I
friend.
have seven.
No, I
plus
have one.
Joe.
I have one. Yeah.
Seven
Yeah.
close friends.
Yeah.
That's
Seven
really
close
good.
friends
Yeah.
plus
I
Joe.
think that's
Actually,
great.
I think I have 10. Okay.
Good
so
for you.
Thank you. But listen, I did hard work in there
Move
to be a good friend. I think that if you think about life, though, like say it's Shannon that I worked with 26 years ago.
Sure.
If she is a meaningful person in my life. It's a boss that I had in a job a zillion years
You keep
ago.
in touch with her.
She's the kind of person I could speak with her once a year and we pick right on up.
But you
Yeah.
do, yeah.
There are people who are important in your life that you don't have to see every day or be your best friend. So
Okay.
if this person wants the 40 meaningful people, don't judge about the number. Just be jealous that there's 40 important people that this person wants to, celebrate with.
I have
fair.
another.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this kind of happened to me a few years ago. I had an ex that it was like around the holidays and we had been kind of off and on, but there was a birthday party and it was I think it was about like 15 people, and so like partners were allowed, and I forget if he like didn't ask or if he like did ask, and the birthday girl's boyfriend was like, oh, like because I haven't met her, like it was something, but I wasn't invited to the dinner, but I was invited to the thing after, and his friends who I had like met some of them, like there were stories and there was like definitely room. And so I just like, even beforehand, I was just like really hurt because I had met a lot of these people. And so I did meet up with everyone afterwards. And the whole thing too was like, I was driving him to the airport at like 4 a.m. the next morning. And then we
Good
weren't going to see each
God.
other for like 2 weeks because it was the holidays. And so I was just like really hurt. And during the dinner, he was like, I couldn't eat. I was also just like really bummed out about it.
Oh, no.
And so that's the thing. It's like, okay, OP, like you want to have this wonderful dinner for all of your best friends, and like that one of your best friends is telling you like, I'm like, it's not going to be as fun for me if my wife's not there. So that's another thing to consider.
I think where I'm kind of landing with this is that you have a right to do this. I personally think it's a little grating. It lands to me as grating and unrealistic. There's a thing I've been trying to search for a phrase for this. I was telling you about this. I brought it up a lot. But there's you could put people in a certain position where you're forcing them to reveal their allegiances. This is one of them. It's like, bro, me and my wife, we're a package deal. You're asking something, which realistically, and I like what you said, you could have I understand, you have 40, let's call them meaningful connections throughout your life. I maintain, for me, impossible that you're close to 40 people. That's just too many folks to be close to, but meaningful. And that's your right. However, just because I'm a meaningful connection to you, if you're like, so you expect me when it's the weekend, when we only have so much time together, me and my wife, I'm going to not invite her to your fucking thing? Like, who do you think you are, bro? Like, we might have a meaningful connection, but I'm not going to do that to her. You're forcing me to reveal my allegiance, which is to my wife.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
point.
I was going to say, for him, there was 40 people and only one complained.
Yeah, pretty good ratio.
So, and so that's one as the OP where you have to make the judgment call and you have to say, is this friendship worth saving or maintaining? And it's only one more person, right? But on the flip side, if I'm the OP, there's a part of me that, and this is just me personally, I'm going to be looking around at that room and thank all of you, except for you, who have had a meaningful contribution to my life. Like, I think I'm going to be a little pissed if I was forced to invite your wife.
I guess
And maybe the wife wouldn't really want to be in there.
And that's the thing for the OP to go back to the guy. Like the guy also, the guest kind of sounds like a jerk, a bit like, well, is my wife still not invited? Like, in other words, like we're not having a conversation about this. It's like, hey, man, I know he wants to have this reveal, right, about these gifts, but maybe if he explained to the guy, look, there's going to be something special that happens one-on-one with each of you. And I love your wife. She's great. She's awesome. I'm happy for you, but she doesn't play this role in my life.
All right, let me spin it this way. See if I can move you guys over a little.
All right.
Realistically, you're having a party of 40 people. Let's say it's 5 hours, which is very long. How much time are you spending with each of these 40 people? Minutes.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I don't know the math.
Whatever
I
that
mean,
math is,
if it's like set up like banquet tables or something like that, or if it's like
but one-on-one time, meaningful one-on-one time,
none. But maybe he's up in the front. Who knows? Maybe he's up in the front at the head of the table, and he's talking to everybody at the same time. I mean,
that's fair, but
who really know? You're making a really good point.
Yes.
This whole thing.
Finally made a good point.
You're making a good point. Everybody's making good points. And it's so interesting, right? It's like each person can have a different perspective on that situation. No one's right. There's always like some context. Some of them are black and white where that person's really not being realistic. But in this one, maybe the host isn't really being that great about this whole situation. But the friend also isn't being so great by throwing a temper tantrum about the wife.
We've thrown a lot of shade on all the friend said was, I sent the invites a few weeks ago. A close childhood friend says, why wasn't my wife invited? Okay. And then the OP explains, and then he just says again, is my wife still not invited? And the top comment.
That's kind of jerky. Is my wife still not invited?
I mean, I'm surprised. I really did not expect you guys to take this perspective, because I kind of feel like it's so normal. I'm with you, Brogan, at 10-person dinner where it's like, it's just my close friends. But pretty much any other reason, like even my friends who have a girlfriend, an established girlfriend, I'm like, she's coming. She's coming, bro. Like what? I'm going to tell him not to bring his girlfriend to our friend hang? Like, that's crazy. But
like, what about if it was same sex, like a guy's weekend? All my important guy friends are going.
Yeah, that's
would
different.
He throw a temper tantrum that his
reasonable.
Wife wasn't invited?
Well, no, but that would be reasonable because
different.
the very premise is that it's a guy's event, and I have guys' events. And you can't come. I'm sorry, but Joe, you're welcome.
Oh, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Well, there we go. I'm sorry, bro. I gotta kick you out if it's gonna be like that.
I'll be there.
Top comment went YTA. Tactless as all hell. Are you single? You sound like you're so inexperienced that you can't grasp. At 40 years old, how rude this is.
So that's different, and that it just feels with an all same-sex weekend where it's like more information. Like the friend, I wish that the friend is maybe coming at it with a little bit of it would be more convenient, or it would be really meaningful, or just really nice to have my wife there for transportation reasons, for whatever reasons, or she's, I don't know, just any reason to convince him, or for OP, aside from just these are my close friends, it's your 40 close friends, to be this is why, even for the friend did offer to pay for her dinner. So
he did, which is, and then at 40, you're right. At age 40, if you're 22 and scraping pennies, I can see it, right? But if this guy is buying meaningful gifts for these people, he's got to have some bank. And, it doesn't feel like the money's the issue. But I mean, there's definitely something on principle here for the OP who's hosting. But man, it's a
tough call. And here's the other thing. This is a meaningful milestone birthday for this guy, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I can also empathize, because I don't care for all of the spouses of some of our couple friends.
Amen.
And,
They're watching.
Some of you are
Careful.
dating whack people. You heard it from Cheryl Dillon. She fucking knows. She knows better than me.
She'll be by to tell
Of
you that
course.
personally later.
Of course, if I love the friend, of course their spouse is included. I don't necessarily care for them, right? I don't necessarily consider them part of the crew for whatever
course.
reason, right?
course.
Wherever these friendships were formed
Of course.
was before that person. And so you might have this history, and this other person, it has nothing to do with how long they're married. It's just you don't have that history with them. And so I could really see, how else could you ever get together then? You could never get together with just your friend if the spouses always have to be included. When else could you possibly gather them all together in a room if this etiquette is that you have to invite the spouse, which is kind of sucky. Of course, I can see both sides. But sometimes if it's your milestone birthday, you can't know what's in this guy's head. It's just for some reason very important to him that he be in this. Obviously, if he's going out and getting a gift for each and every person for something about their connection with each other, he's really taking this milestone birthday very, very seriously. It's very important to him.
So it sounds like you're at NTA and the friend is.
I don't think that the way you're saying it is that the friend is like,
Twice times.
is she still not invited?
Yeah.
Like that it's really kind of crappy. That's a crappy way to go at it, instead of, like you said, well, she means a lot to me. I'll have more fun with her there.
We're gonna have to get
She's my
Ubers.
important person, whatever. I just don't like all of this like ultimatums and demands and threats. And that's the way that's coming across, that there's no dialogue. It's just a declaration, and it's a my way or no way. And I don't care for that. You know what I mean?
That's valid. So you're at NTA, correct? NTA and the friend is.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay.
I'm kind of in everyone's sex here. That's just and I think not necessarily like egregious assholes, but just like have better communication.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, you're 40.
Yeah.
You said it
Yeah.
right
This is an
there.
important fact.
Well, it looks like we're all gonna go on different paths here. For me, it's a blatant YTA. This just isn't done. If it was a 10-person event, maybe 15. Once we start to cross that, let me get this straight. You're having a big event and you're not inviting my wife to come with me. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an asshole. I don't know what you're doing. And I actually feel like I understand that there is a nagging thing, but he's like, so why isn't my wife invited? You're still saying my wife isn't invited? Because to me, it's just so insane. It's so insane. It's so beyond an established protocol where the two fly together. I mean, that's the whole thing, you know? And no poly people, you can't bring 5. It's 2. That's the number. So that's where I'm at. Wow, look at that. All right.
Dissent among the ranks.
Yeah.
Oh boy, controversy.
All right, here we go. We'll do 2
Now
more.
all our friends are wondering which spouses I don't like.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
right.
get back to me about the fallout.
I will let you know. There's going to be letters, lots of letters.
AITA for refusing to split the alcohol costs at a bachelorette, even though I'm pregnant. So my friend had a bachelorette. We rented out a cute Airbnb, hot tub by the lake. Everything was paid, organized by us, the party, as it was a surprise for the bride. We shared the cost evenly, even though I'm pregnant and I didn't use the hot tub. We paid $500 extra just for the hot tub. By the way, I hate when they do that. That's bullshit. We also each made 1 meal for the party and bought all the things needed, the barbecue, including booze. It was all on one receipt, so it was easier to divide earlier between the party, of course. The bride didn't pay a dime. It was her party. Since I'm pregnant and I wasn't drinking, I bought my own alcohol-free wine. After the party, when we were splitting the bill for the groceries, decorations, etc., I said I'm going to pay my share, excluding alcohol, since I haven't drank. And my friend said that we should split the bill evenly, and I was the asshole for refusing to do so. I said I paid extra for the house and the tub, and it was already $80 for something I didn't use, and I will not pay for the alcohol. It wasn't much, but it was still like $50. I didn't care about the money, but why should I pay for something I said in the beginning that I won't drink? AITA.
Well, you know, in this kind of a situation, right? It's the gift is the party. And so the original poster here is kind of trying to say like, well, I'm going to go in on the sweater, but not the wrapping paper. It feels like, and it's like, but you need to have the wrapping paper to have the, to give it as a gift.
That's a good argument.
And so, you're really trying to break it down. And, we all have those friends. And I can think of one that's just like screaming in my head right now where, you're at a restaurant and like, sometimes it's like, if this was $1 more or this, it's like, so you're just in a large group, you have to get over it. The math is just too hard. The concept is too hard. The idea is a party. And as all of us, not everybody, of course, if you've got a problem with alcohol, please take this comment with a grain of salt. But most parties you go to, there will be booze involved. So the expectation is if you're co-hosting or co-throwing a party, that one of the expenses to have such a party would be alcohol.
When I had a bachelorette party, it was in Atlantic City because we were living in Jersey at the time.
Awesome.
And one of my matron
She'd be the matron because she was married. I think it's matron.
So one of my bridal party was pregnant, and she still paid. Like, I didn't pay for anything. It was a gift. The bridal party threw me, bachelorette thing, and they all split whatever evenly. And she didn't complain that she had to spend more on the alcohol and she wasn't drinking it. It wasn't even on her radar about that. It wasn't an issue. It was, she cared about me. She agreed that she wanted to go in with these other gals and throw me this party, and they each split it however many ways. So it would be different if you were going out to dinner with a bunch of people. And again, this is like, money is weird for people, right? So for example, maybe you go out to dinner with a bunch of friends and one person orders the most expensive thing on the menu, and then they order all kinds of cocktails and bottles of wine, and they really go all out with what they're ordering. And everybody else is ordering a burger and a beer. So it's very different. And then the bill comes, and that person is always the one that wants to split the bill equal ways, And it's, what do you feel about the money and the experience? So for example, if we have plenty of money and we don't think that's unfair because we're enjoying the company of everybody at the dinner, we might be like, yeah, just split it. Who cares? But if it's so imbalanced and that person did that, you would think that person would be smart enough to say, let me kick in more because of what I ate and drank.
Right, yeah.
Or stupid enough.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
think
Yeah.
Free lobster.
In that
That's why I always-
You guys
situation,
want to eat after this?
right?
Yeah, free
for
lobster.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But in this particular situation, I agree with you, Joe. The party was the gift. It's not about, well, I only ate 3 potato chips and so I should only have to pay this much. That's a bit short-sighted.
Yeah.
Rogues.
I think, what's funny is like there's probably some ladies in the house that just like don't drink coffee, and one of OP like used more paper towels than everyone else, or like ate more chips. Like there's kind of no reason to go just like tit for tat with things like that. I think when you're committing, there's just like, you just understand there's just store runs and alcohol is part of that.
In Mario Party, sometimes you get a game where it's 1 versus 3. And now I'm playing Mario Party. As a non-drinker, I've been not drinking for 12 years now. For me, you're saying it's part of the party, and I think it's a good argument. And we could argue it's a very established part of the party. I give you that. However, in certain friend groups and certain circles, cocaine is part of the party. Various drug use, part of cigarettes, part of the party, Personally, I do indulge in a little bit of Zyn for a wedding. I want to be up a nicotine little pouch.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not gross. You won't even be able to tell.
I thought you were thinking Zinfandel. I'm like,
Me too.
okay.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
I'm gonna pour you.
No, it's like a
Pour you
little
a glass.
packet you put up here.
There you go.
And I actually feel that they should have said, well, obviously, first of all, Susie over here is pregnant. That's ridiculous that she would pay for the alcohol. Now, that said, we're also talking about what is the level of egregiousness. And this is where I'm less full-throated with this take. Sometimes you go to dinner with people and there's drinkers and non-drinkers. And pretty typically, I would argue, the booze is as much as the food.
Oh.
Now, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You want me, you know what I mean? And I hate to be the guy to do it. But when it's like you're doubling the cost with your poison that you wanted to ingest, I'm to subsidize that? No, honey. I'll gladly, you wanted to get fries extra with your burger. You got the tots, fine. And I got a fucking lettuce wrap. Fine. I'll pay the extra $4, but not double.
Yeah.
But it's not cultural norm for cocaine to customarily be at a party as part of the...
That's
Unless
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
In other words, though, now, I don't know, you're younger than us. This whole non-drinking is a newish thing.
Fair to
because
say.
when we were in your age bracket,
Yes.
How old do you think we
5
were?
years ago.
yeah, alcohol, our social circle didn't contain non-drinkers.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very common now in Gen
Right.
Z, even
Yeah.
more common.
Yeah. And
They probably should have had some non-drinkers.
Thanks for admitting it.
Exactly.
yeah.
You know, based
But
on the
you know, like our
photographic
friend
evidence.
circle did. But always, though, I mean, just think about it. It's your value about money. I don't think it has so much to do with pregnant, not pregnant, drinker, non-drinker. I think it really is what you're looking at is the value of the friendship or the gift and the money. To me personally, whether I have a lot of money or I don't have a lot of money, if I don't have a lot of money, I probably don't say yes to some of the invitations because I know I'm watching my budget.
Sure.
If it's a good friend and I'm going to their party, I find a way to make it happen and I'm not going to be nickel and diming. It's like, that is ridiculous.
This is a tough
You
one.
know?
This is a tough one. I agree with you that when we're talking about $50, and I have to say the hot tub did kind of push me a little far where I'm like, it does sound nickel and diming. It's like, I don't think you're allowed to per diem or like, what is that called when you're a la carte? Well, yeah, like you're saying like, oh, you had extra chips, Annabelle, and you used the dishwasher twice. That was excessive. I'm not subsidizing. It's like, okay, well, I don't think it's a per appliance thing. But I kind of feel like good friends would be like, yo, she's pregnant. Like, she's the pregnant one in the friend group. Are we really going to make her pay for something that would actually be bad for her to imbibe? It's, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's a party. It's not.
But see, you're saying that, and I agree that it's a cultural norm. But to me, I go to parties all the time where I don't drink alcohol. So is it a requirement of the party, or are people opting to drink at the party? And for me, it is going a little far to say it's necessary for the party. I say, well, you sound like you're an alcoholic. If you need alcohol to have a party, why should I have to subsidize that? Now, if she said, I only want to pay for the bride's share of alcohol, I'd be like, okay, that seems fairly reasonable. We're giving her the party, and that's her idea of a party.
I just think that, first of all, those other party host people could have said that. Well, she's pregnant. She shouldn't have to pay the whole amount. I don't think I agree with getting out an itemized receipt and figuring out how much less she pays. Like, I just feel like a lot of this is very punitive. And the bride, it's for the bride. It's a gift for the bride. That's why I feel like it's different than her circumstances. She's in a way kind of buying into a gift for this bride.
Which is that
Do you know?
memorable evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
One or two I had a pretty big bachelorette party. There was like 17 or 18 girls, and like one or two of them were going through just like horrible life things. Not necessarily, like, not financially, just like some really, really bad things had happened in their lives. So they were dealing with a lot of like grief, and I was just like, I just didn't want them to have to worry about another thing. And so I just like covered I split the house. I split the cost of the house as if they were going, so it wasn't more money for everyone else. And then I just covered it for them.
Got it.
Because it's like, I would rather have you there,
Yeah.
and not have you have to worry about it. And so I just, and another thing with these like trips is like, basically everyone, I would say most people are also just like bringing a bottle of wine. They're like bringing other things from outside that they're just like, oh, that they're contributing. They're not going to charge people for. And so I think there's just so much like not nickel and diming that it's just, yeah. On top of like alcohol being a cultural norm, I think like for me and my experience, a cultural norm has just been being just like generous and so excited to just like, be generous with each other. Yeah.
I agree. AITA for refusing to split the alcohol costs at a bachelorette party, even though I'm pregnant. I think maybe I could meet you guys somewhere in the middle and say, if it was me and I was just being a stickler, like, I don't drink and I don't want to pay, I'd be like, shut up, bro. It's $50. But to me, I am a little bit, I think, aligned with what you're saying, which is there is a circumstance here. She is pregnant. She will not be able to use the hot tub. I don't know. Anytime I go
the ladies, they didn't ask me. They weren't like, oh, I had this like thing happen.
Fair enough.
This
is my closing statement. I'm going to close my here and you guys can give a final talk. But I feel that consideration is something that the planner should have incorporated given that she is pregnant. You're right. It is a cultural norm to drink. I also would suggest it is a cultural norm to accommodate your pregnant friend. I think that is a special circumstance. I think her paying for the alcohol with no consideration for the organizer, which is the role you're describing, is a little ridiculous. And it is $130. And I think it is, now that I say it back, I think it's easy to take snipes and be like, well, you didn't use a dishwasher, you ate too many chips. And I'm like, no, she can't go in the hot tub. Why? Not because she doesn't like it, not because she's an overindulger, but because she has a known social circumstance called pregnancy, which I'm told is quite important to our society. And for these reasons, I think she could have said very reasonably, like, hey, I don't want to pay for this. And I think someone should have seen it. And I'm not going to call them assholes, but I don't think she's an asshole for asking. I don't think it quite reaches nickel and diming. I would suggest it's probably maybe 10% or 20% of the total cost. And so for me, I'm gonna give it a no assholes here.
I'm going back to my wrapping paper and gift. I think this is just an assumed thing. This is, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So I think she's being an asshole.
I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, money comes and money goes. The amount of money is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you're using or what you're not using. This is the friend contributing into the party, regardless of their condition or what they're going to be able to enjoy or eat or drink or, swim.
So is she the asshole for wanting a discount on the
You
bill?
are saying she is the asshole.
I am. Yeah.
I don't think she's an asshole, but I think it's a bit unreasonable. So is there a level of under asshole that is,
you either
that's pretty extreme.
You either got to go no assholes here or she's the asshole.
That sounds so extreme. Asshole. No, but it's a little ridiculous.
You could say little, soft.
Yeah,
soft
it's a
YTA.
mini asshole.
Okay.
I say like YTA, but soft YTA. I just get being fucking irritated, but like I don't know. It's not the biggest deal,
fair.
and that's the thing. It's not the biggest deal. Yeah.
I think you guys are assholes for coming on my podcast and disagreeing with me.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna wrap up on a silly one. AITA for wearing an eclectic outfit to my friend's dinner party. I, 24, have a very unconventional style. I treat everyday outfits like costumes. Clown, fairy, pirate, knight. It's normal for me. And my friends and family, they're used to it. That said, if someone wants me to dress normally for something, I will. My friend Mindy, 24F, hosted a dinner party about a week before. I asked if there was a dress code. She said no. A couple days before, I asked again, and she said no clown or pirate. I agreed. I showed up in kind of an elf fantasy outfit. Dress, elf ears, accessories, pretty standard. Most people didn't care, a few commented, and one person asked for a photo, which I declined at the time. Mindy didn't say anything that night, but the next day she sent me angry text saying I was rude. When I called, she said no clown or pirate obviously meant I should dress normally. I told her I would have if she'd said that directly. Now some friends think I did nothing wrong, while others are calling me attention seeking. I generally didn't realize what she meant, but now I'm wondering if I messed up. AITA.
So no clown or pirate, and she was a fairy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elf. Big difference.
So she should be a lawyer. It's those loopholes,
I like that.
I think there was a big misunderstanding in that one. And the friend, when she said clown or pirate, means normal. No fairy, nothing. And the gal took it literally. And the loophole was, well, I'm not clown or pirate, I'm fairy. So I think there was a big misunderstanding there.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, this is her friend. It doesn't sound like this was a one-off for her friend. This would be like, listen, Brogan, next time I see you, you have to have blonde hair. And you're like, but Joe, my hair is brown. It's always been brown. And she knows her friend dresses up. So I think there's an expectation that no matter what I say to her, clown, pirate, circus monkey, she's going to come as something because that's who she genuinely is. She's not doing it for the attention.
What if her every day is assless chaps?
I'm on board
And
with
she's
that because
asking her to
I didn't
put
wear mine
pants
today.
on.
I'm glad because I would have stuck to this chair.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know it's a little hot in here. You guys are
I think that's a bit.
I'm kind of with you though.
That's
it
a bit
seems
much.
like this is how this person dresses, and I actually think it's pretty funny. If I had a friend who'd be showing up and stuff like this, you have to be like, that's just who they are. You accept them for who they are. Now, I don't think it's unreasonable. You say there's certain situations where you're like, hey, dress normally. OP says they're willing to dress normally. They said they're willing to do it, but that's not what this person said. And I think, and I hate to go this way, and I usually don't, but I'm going to go it. I think obviously this person is a little neurodivergent of some kind. They'd be showing up in costumes of places. And yeah, they took it super literally, but they followed the declaration.
They did.
You said
The fact that they said they would be willing to dress normally if asked is different than I think what you're saying, because you're saying it's just who they are. This is how they dress all the time.
that's their default.
Well, it isn't how they dress all the time if they're also willing to dress normal if asked.
Well, they're
You
willing.
see what I mean?
They're willing, but that's not how they dress all the time. This
But
person
she
dresses.
was being asked to dress normal. It's just that she mistook no clown or pirate. Fairy's okay.
Yeah.
The friend meant no clown or pirate. She didn't realize she had to go down the list of all the possible characters that the girl could be dressed as.
Why did she say clown or pirate? She should have said, please dress normal.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's what I mean. There was a big misunderstanding.
Yeah. So the girl who showed up as the elf was not a clown or a pirate.
I
Right.
think it was just a classic case of a misunderstanding.
I think that's fair to say. I saw this great reel yesterday. I think it was for an autistic organization of some kind. And this guy had a shirt on. It said, clarity is kindness. And there's all these different situations. For instance, a gentleman is like, I don't know, screen printing or something on a counter. And he's kind of covering the whole counter with all his tools. And the autistic gentleman puts his backpack down and he says, oh, I'm actually working here. And the autistic gentleman says, okay, seems like you're getting a lot done. And he says, no, I'm saying, can you remove your backpack, please? It's impeding my work. And he goes, oh, of course. And there's a leap that we all make.
Yeah.
It's subtext, right? Which I think we all got it. Was she saying no pirate? What is it? No pirates?
No pirates, no clowns.
No pirates, no clowns.
Yeah, I can
we
see
all
that.
understood that to mean don't wear a costume. But that isn't literally what's being said. And there's so many aspects to communication where it's like you're seeing forest for trees, but certain neurodivergent people, they don't see the forest. All they see is the trees. So you better put up the right trees, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the girl could have said, is it okay if I dress like a fairy?
She could have.
She could
She could have clarified if she wasn't sure.
Yeah, but she dresses like
wanted
that all
her
the time.
meaning. Her lens, she wanted her meaning, and she found it. And the other gal who didn't want any of those costumes was looking at it in a different way, that she would just understand what that meant. But they don't see things the same way, you know?
Because I think, just to be clear for the record, right, I don't think anyone in this room is a mental health professional, and we're not playing one on TV, but
Amen.
You have to know, like, somebody who dresses up in costumes, there's got to be something, something going on in their brain. And by the way, and I support that, by the way, I want to be really clear. I'm all about you be you, right? Definitely get your, freak flag fly. And, and that's awesome because you're so comfortable and confident in yourself that you could dress up like perhaps a pirate or a clown, because those were on the list of not to, so they must have been frequent.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, look, this, that's whoever, and she's my friend, and you know what? You get on with your bad self, right?
But there are certain situations. You're not going to wear an outfit like that into your corporate job.
No.
There's certain
Or
situations.
I think a funeral is a good example where it's like,
right.
you've
It's
come as
disrespectful.
yes, exactly. You've come, you're not respecting the decorum here, which is about respecting the seriousness that a man is dead, a woman is dead, a person is dead. But in most situations, I'm like, you pay a very high social penalty if you're willing to bear that penalty, I mean, that's your business. You're going to dress like a clown. People are going to treat you like a clown. And if you're willing to do that, hey, it's your business.
You're reminding me of, was it Robert De Niro? What am I, a clown?
Well, yeah. Do I amuse you? Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ooh.
I do kind of feel like, I don't know. I guess I'm like, yeah, it sounds like the friend, it's Mindy, you know, she's like, I'm sorry, but you got someone like this in your circle. You said something and they heard what you said. They didn't hear the subtext. But I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of like, sounds like Mindy's, this is kind of a miss on your end. I'm like, you didn't pick up that your friend's a little eccentric, honey?
Yeah.
Like, she's the eccentric one. You're supposed to kind of sniff this out and just offer clear instructions. It definitely wasn't obstinate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Top comment, I don't know that you're necessarily the asshole, but take this as a lesson. You're an adult, not a preschooler, and it isn't always okay for you to show up to events in a costume. Next time you're invited to a grown-up social event, have enough respect for your host to consider what is or is not appropriate for the occasion. If you're not sure, ask. I think that's reasonable to say ask. Asking is a good thing to advocate, but I don't know. I don't really appreciate this person's tone because I think a lot of neurodivergent people, this stuff is air to us, this subtext thing, right? Like I would never have to explain to you,
right?
Take that off the counter that I am working on for you are impeding, right? You would never say that. You would never say, it's like, I've never even had that thought before. I saw this reel and I got, oh my God, I never, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's so natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm kind of at NTA, and she is a little bit. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of your miss. Then you're mad at her.
I don't think that Mindy's allowed to be like that mad. I think on Mindy's behalf as well, like I've had a few friends that are a bit similar where I've been like planning something really, really big that's taken a long time. And at that point, everyone's asking you things like, what do I bring? Is there a dress code? Like everyone's asking, you're just getting a lot of questions, like 360. And so when there's one person that, and I'm like, I imagine that things like this, if this is one thing, it might happen across the board where there's like a lot of different questions about different things. I imagine that Mindy's just like, oh my God, like, no, just no clown or pirate. And so I don't think that she's the hugest, like, I don't think that the miscommunication, maybe she was just like tired of or stressed from planning. I don't think that she should have been as angry as she was.
She called it rude.
Yeah.
I think that's crossing a line for me. I'm like, I don't think it was rude.
It's like Mindy is probably like, shame on me. I should have been more crystal clear. No costumes at all of any kind. Wear t-shirt and jeans. No wings and no, like probably knowing her friend, she now learned a lesson that she's got to be just more specific, explicit in the words that she's saying. Yeah,
and I mean, we talked about nonviolent communication. To me, characterizing what OP did as rude does not fit the bill. It would be rude if she was being obstinate, but I don't think she was being obstinate because I think she genuinely didn't understand, as someone who would repeatedly wear costumes to lunch would not understand. Guys, that's the app. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been an absolute blast.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for having us. This was so much fun.
Was it really? Was this worth coming on a 3-hour train ride to LA?
Oh my God. I can't believe I'm here.
You dragged your wife.
I did
all the way
too.
Here.
Well, I'm not going to suffer alone. I'm not going to bear this own cross.
That's fair.
It's Friday. I'm going to go home and drink.
Wow.
Sorry.
Have fun. No, please.
And you're going to ask Danny to pay for it.
He's stuck with you.
Right. You have to pay for it.
Venmo me. No problem. Brogan, thanks for joining as well, sharing your divorce, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.